All right, it is Tuesday night in Tooney Town, and that can only mean one thing. It is time for everyone's favorite wrestling live stream podcast of the week. It is time for Tooney Talk Wrestling. Folks, my name is Marvin, and I'm Movie Monster, and I'm thrilled to welcome you guys all to another wonderful Halloween week here on Tooney Talk Wrestling, where we are going to be going through a show that has stirred such mixed feelings in me, because I thought this show... Like, the reason we did this show was because I thought Halloween Havoc 1991 was going to just be putrid. And it was going to be fun to make fun of. But you know what? We'll get to it. We will get to my mixed feelings on this show in a minute.
He stole a Hogan shirt from a girl. His actions make a righteous hurl. He fantasized about Lexa Bliss. Who is this guy? He's Arcadis.
Am I alone? Like, I really thought this show was going to be terrible, and it wasn't that terrible.
I don't know how to. I messaged you. You saw it in the group chat. I'm like, wait a second. This is not as bad as I like.
It's not good.
Mixed feelings. No. It's not good. It feels like a company who is being pulled in like 4 different directions at once, and
which is accurate. Really, I mean, they were trying to find themselves without flair at the time, but you know what? We're getting way ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I do.
Awful Wrestling is here. Dis, you were saying something. I'm sorry, but Awful had to come to you.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna say that.
Stopped.
I was just going to thank everybody for coming. It's Halloween week. It's a busy week. And I was just going to thank everybody that showed up.
You wanted to interrupt the show to say that shit?
To thank people. Yes. That's a good way to interrupt the show.
Kind of. Yeah.
I've had a rough week.
So you guys
have drank heavily since I lost last week. It's been tough. So.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you guys had mixed emotions about the show, huh? This is going to be interesting. I can't wait to talk about this.
Yeah, me too. I'm really looking forward to this. I hope people are digging the new kind of format what we're doing, where we want to just kind of look back and look at things that we actually like or are just fun to talk about instead of just getting angry at modern wrestling all the time. Don't get me wrong, there's going to still be some of that, obviously. But I was also thinking that each month should have a theme. Like, this month's theme was Halloween Havoc, obviously. But next month, I've already chosen the theme, and that theme is War Games!
Nice. That's interesting. So you went for War Games over Survivor Series. That's interesting.
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe we can do a War Games and a Survivor Series.
Yeah, that'll be good. Because I kind of dug the 4 versus 4 or teams of 5 strive to survive, or the 4 versus 4 stuff. But
I'm just more of a War Games guy than a Survivor Series guy. But we can do both. And then I was thinking December we can do like Starrcade, or I'm trying to think of like what could be done for maybe like December pay-per-views in general, because there was always like Armageddon and things like that. There are some really weird December shows. Obviously January will be Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Tribute to the troops could be January too. We could throw one of those in there because they did the Christmas episodes every year for a little while. So
December to December.
Oh yeah, whatever he said.
He said December to December. So
okay,
that's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, I want one month to be like an ECW themed month. I want, obviously we'll do WrestleMania in March or April. And Awful's gone. He'll be back. But yeah, I think there's a lot we can do with it. But I like it doing like 1 week we do a classic pay-per-view, the next week we have a different topic, and then the next week we do a classic pay-per-view, and we go back and forth.
Right. And we will be watching bad stuff, but it's going to be bad stuff that we still enjoy watching.
Right.
Right. Like fun bad.
It's like watching a bad movie, but it doesn't like offend you. Here, you know what? I'm gonna get this out of the way first and foremost about this show and why I think I like, because it's like there's bad stuff on this show, but it was just entertainingly bad because there's not a cult-like following of rabid fans who are defending this to the death.
It helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, does that make sense? Like I was able to enjoy a bad wrestling show for what it was because there wasn't somebody screaming that I should die because I don't like it.
Or you don't have somebody telling you that it's the greatest wrestling you're ever going to see, and that you need, it's it's a big
everybody
difference.
watched that Chamber of Horrors match. It was just like, this is god awful.
But I'm getting too much. I'm getting too deep.
Yeah, we are getting at because it's the first match on the show, so this show, it's so weird because it's like two different shows because you have the Chamber of Horrors and then you have everything else.
Well, it's almost like three because in the middle it just becomes like an episode of WCW Saturday Night for a few matches. Like it's just like
by the time I got to the Bobby Eaton match, I was like, I can't believe this is the same show that had the Chamber of Horrors. Like that feels like a completely other show that I watched a week ago. But we will talk about that later. We got some things to talk about. First and foremost, first of all, you guys, your super chats. This is a show that is made for you and financed by you, and we count on your generous super chats to keep the lights on around here. We stop and read your super chats in between all of our different topics, and during the pay-per-view discussion, we will take your super chats as they come in, pretty much. And we take breaks for $50 or more. So if you send in $50 or more, we stop and read whatever it is you want to say. So let's see what you guys are. A couple of you are out there. Regina Sharp for $5 is unrelated, but does anyone else hear the fake cowboys singing the diss theme as Unca Diss instead of Aka Diss? Inquiring minds. I don't know. I hear Aka Diss, but maybe that's because I wrote it.
Yeah, probably. I
tell you, it was really hard to get it to say Aka.
It kept trying to say AKA.
No, it was saying weird things, and like I had to like phonetically spell it out. It's not a perfect tool yet.
No, not yet.
So, Ewing Cumia for $1.99 says next time review WrestleMania 3. I mean that might be, but you know what? Maybe we'll make that our first WrestleMania that we review during WrestleMania month.
Yeah, March or so. That would be
March or April, whichever one we decide to go with.
Yeah,
I wonder what makes that event so special.
I mean, two matches. It has two of the greatest matches of all time. So I mean, it was the first wrestling show on that scale to be on that scale to be. Yes,
that
it was
big,
a mega show. Like it,
being a little facetious, gentlemen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right. Regina Sharp for $20 says try new Glom Gold fried fish bites. They're finger looking good. Now 10% dolphin free. Not Ricochet. This advertisement brought to you by. I should have had this queued up.
Glom Gold, Glom Gold, Glom Gold, Glom Gold.
Always has been, always is, always will be. Anthony J for $5 says, can we appreciate Jade's heel turn and what kind of a badass she looks like? Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, Jade is a badass in every sense of the word, right? I know, awful. You don't like her, but
it is weird.
Awful has got this weird hate for Jade Cargill.
It's always
there's
always it switches. Sometimes people say I don't like Jade Cargill. Sometimes people say Awful don't like Jade Cargill. And I don't think either of us have ever said anything bad about Jade Cargill.
The first time I said that and got shouted down, I legitimately thought Awful had something agained Jade Cargill.
Oh, really?
And then was told how wrong I was.
No, yeah. Awful loves that's his boo. He loves Jade Cargill.
That's my boo. Yeah.
That's his boo. He was
she's just one of the few wrestlers who I like. She's awesome, can be said. And I'm glad that the heel turn happened. It was awesome.
She looked really cool with that scar on her eyebrow.
Oh yeah.
That was real. That was kind of awesome. I hope they keep it. I don't know how you keep a scar, but I hope that it doesn't heal.
Just keep it open.
Yeah. You're gonna have the ghost of Harley Race busted open every week.
Right. Gets gangrene.
Pain is beauty.
Yeah.
I love that story. There's a story in Flair's book. Remember the night that he rubbed Steamboat's face into the concrete?
No, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so there was a night where they did a gimmick where basically Flair was like, everyone's calling Ricky Steamboat a pretty boy. I'm going to mess his face up. And he dragged his face along the concrete and they had to sell it. So they basically held Steamboat down in the back and Harley Race went to town on him with a sheet of sandpaper.
Yeah.
So that his flesh would be all torn up and and it would like sell it when he like went out to like the supermarket or whatever.
Erica said, if you want to give yourself a scar, you piss with it. What does that mean, Erica?
Maybe it means you mess with it.
Oh,
I'm assuming
okay.
it doesn't mean like you go to the bathroom with it, because everyone would have to go to the bathroom while they have a scar, right?
That's a very specific place to have a scar. Yeah, I don't know why you'd want to keep a scar in that place. That's a weird comment.
I don't want to know how you got the scar there.
I don't want to know. You can ask Rick Rude, right? Rick Rude had that. Remember that story? You ever heard that story?
Speaking of Rick Rude, we're going to talk about him later.
You never heard that story about Rick Rude, about how the rumor about how he almost lost his wiener?
Dick?
Yeah, and that's why he became a drug addict after that. And yeah, that was like, who was it? Who was it? It was like one of those guys who had a podcast in the early 2000s talked about it a lot, where they said like Rick Rude he injected himself with Viagra, but right into the area, and eventually
this isn't in that urban legends list, is it?
No, but it should be.
Okay.
It's right up that alley. It's the same kind of story. Actually, it might be in that list. It might be Honky Tonk Man. Honky Tonk Man said it. That's right. Thank you, Beard. Thank you,
AW Neckbeards, our mod extraordinaire and producer in the chat,
and our living grok apparently.
Yeah. So wait, so the rumor was that like what happened?
He wasn't able to perform anymore. So he started, instead of taking pills, he would inject it right into the source.
Right into the shaft.
Right. And that eventually it caused it to get something. And they said they were going to have to get rid of it.
That's a supervillain origin story.
Yeah. So instead, he just took a lot of drugs. That was the story. That's what Honky Tonk Man said. So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
How ravishing.
I'm trying to decide if it's believable. I don't think it's not believable.
I don't know Rick Rude enough to know. Like, I know okay, if I'm talking about if the character Rick Rude would do that, yes, that is believable for the character.
How different do you think the character Rick Rude and Rick Rude the man actually work?
That's what I'm trying to separate here. That's what I'm trying to separate. I'm trying to see, like, because the
real Rick Rude was shy.
Right off the bat, I'd say absolutely
poetry.
Right off the top, I say absolutely believable. It's Rick Rude. Of course, he's going to shove things in his dick. It's Rick Rude. That's what he does. But then I go, wait, is that just me being?
Hold on, it's what he does. Like,
aren't you? Yeah,
you're telling me ravishing Rick Rude wouldn't be obsessed with his wiener? You're telling me that guy?
Like, before, right now, I'd never considered like what Rick Rude put in his dick.
Right. It would be where his dick would go.
Right.
That would be more like ravishing Rick Rude.
Okay.
Like you spent your formative years very preoccupied.
No, I'm just talking about
man's wiener.
I'm just saying that because Honky Tonk Man's story is that he was obsessed with it and it caused him to die.
The man was obsessed with his own dick.
And if anybody was going to be obsessed with that, it would be Rick Rude. But I'm trying to see if I can't separate the character from the man. That's where I'm going. Like, am I being worked? You know what I mean? Is it just
my favorite Rick Rude thing is such a weird thing because it's him and Henning. Whenever they were being interviewed by Sean Mooney, they would always open by going, "Shut up, Mooney." I loved that. I don't know why. I've always wanted to meet Sean Mooney just so that I could say, "Shut up, Mooney."
I've always wanted to meet Sean Mooney because he seems like a nice guy. Of all those guys, I think Sean Mooney seems like the nicest.
What about his brother, Ian Mooney?
Who's Ian Mooney? Is that a joke I should get? Should I be like,
no?
Oh, I don't know who that is. Who is that?
Ian Mooney, I think, was Sean Mooney's brother. And I think he did a few stints with the WWE. I'm not making this up. Unless I was dreaming it all.
Everyone's brother is?
No, but I just figured I'd throw it out there.
I like Sean Mooney better than Todd Pettengill, I guess.
Oh my God, everybody loved Sean Mooney better than Todd Pettengill.
I hated Todd Pettengill. Even when I was a kid, I couldn't stand Todd Pettengill.
I went to a WWE stockholders meeting one time back when they were like at the TV studio. And we go to turn in to the TV studio, and the sports car comes tearing out of there like a bat out of hell. Like, I'm talking like screeching tires, like almost collides with us. And I could just see in the window, it's Todd Grisham.
Todd Grisham? Really?
And my buddy goes, "Was that fucking Grisham that almost killed us?"
I thought you were going to say Todd Pettengill. I'd be like, okay, I believe Todd Pettengill, but Grisham, I always took him as like a nerd, you know?
Apparently not.
Okay. I mean, I guess nerds can tear out in a sports car if they want to. I don't see why not.
Can.
I suppose.
I would think nerds would be the one to tear out in a sports car because they have something to prove.
True. John Grisham, the author. No. Todd
Grisham.
Todd Grisham. No. I
Kevin Apollo is here.
Boys, sorry, I would have been here. I was out cold.
It's okay. We know you're busy. And you got a whole nother show coming up after this. So, which that means I have a whole other show coming up after this. So.
I was trying to track down Lauren to see if he accepted the idea.
He reached out to me about the idea like this afternoon. So I'm assuming he did.
Okay, cool.
Things that you didn't realize were remakes.
Yeah.
I got nothing for that, so I'm just going to be listening to your list.
Oh, so top of my list, I'll spoil it because I've already talked about it. True Lies.
I didn't know that was a reboot.
True Lies is a remake.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I didn't realize was a remake until years later. So,
see,
I didn't know that either. I'm gonna start off my list with Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Don't forget Frankenstein.
It's a good one. Awful. I'm actually really excited for that Del Toro Frankenstein to hit Netflix.
I'm shocked it actually came out.
I don't think it's out yet. Isn't it not out for a couple days? It's so weird. It comes out the week after Halloween, I think.
I was saying in general, I'm just shocked that a Del Toro movie actually came out.
Oh,
And that he just didn't talk about it for 8 years.
It came out in theaters already, Marv. They're giving a real like limited theater release for like a week.
You know what that means? It means
Nice.
that's Netflix for we want an Oscar.
Right. And also Halloween.
Release a movie in theaters for like X amount of time for it to be considered for an Oscar.
Right.
I don't know. I'm on day 2 of the carnivore diet right now. So I am like all hopped up on protein and butter.
Do you feel like Gaston right now?
Oh, I do. I did eat like 10 dozen eggs today. I made compound butter. So I got softened butter and I put chopped up like roasted garlic in it because you are allowed garlic on the carnivore diet. A little parsley and just kind of mixed it up, rolled it up and then put it in the fridge. Oh, it's good. So yeah, I had that on steak. I had that on New York strip last night. My wife made pork steaks tonight. Had it on that. I put it on my eggs this morning, and it was amazing.
So this protein diet, is the wife loving it?
No, but she's like, do what you got to do.
Huh.
So,
Marv's gonna look like Todd Champion before the end of this thing.
She's definitely not doing it. Like she couldn't go without her carbs, nor does she need to because my wife is rail thin. But I am. No, it's like this morning. It was like scrambled eggs and bacon with like the butter on top of it, and then it was leftover steak from last night, and then it was pork steak. And I'm just not really that hungry between meals, so it's just kind of not coming. I have like these little like meat snacks that are good. So I'm kind of the anti Nolan Thunder now. Like he doesn't eat any meat, and I just eat meat. So I like to think that Nolan and I balance each other out.
Well, a little real quick before we get into wrestling all the way, I'll share a little thing here. Today Max officially got too old for Halloween.
Really?
Oh no, really? He's not going to do anything?
Yep, today was the day. It was supposed to. That's what
Did you plan out a costume and like plans?
No. So the last couple years, it's been all like he's just kind of wanted to be what he's been. We spent a lot of money on a really nice costume a few years ago, so he's kind of used that a couple times and gone back. He's never been big on the costumes. He's always just like the trick or treat part. So he's one of those kids like when I was a kid, he would have just been a hobo every year kind of thing, you know. But tonight was all the schools are doing the Halloween events, and since he was homeschooled, we were like, oh, we can, your mom can take you to like 3 or 4 of them. You can go to a bunch. And he said, I think I'm too old for it. And it was just like, oh man, that was a shot in the gut. So
Well,
he's gonna
he
be
hit that faster than I did. I think I got too old for Halloween in like sophomore year of high school.
yeah. He wants to hand out candy. He said he still wants to be there. He wants to, because we're going to a trunk or treat, and he still wants to do the trunk or treat, but he wants to hand out. He doesn't want to get. He's also smart because at the trunk or treat, there are very few kids that go to our church. So at the end, he'll get all the candy. Right. He'll get all the leftover candy. So he that's part of it too, is that he knows he doesn't need to work for candy.
You should tell him that you should tell him that a true Christian would then donate the candy to the needy. see how far his values go. Then
he'll go in and pick out all the Reese's and then give the jawbreakers to poor people.
Give to the needy, but they don't get the good stuff.
Get butterscotch. Deal with it.
They should have gotten their own candy. They'd have Reese's for life as opposed to Reese's for a day.
That's right. You teach a man to Reese's. Wait, that doesn't work.
You can teach a man to trick or treat for Reese's. He'll have candy for a day.
It's my favorite Parks and Rec quote where he goes,
teach a man to fish, feed him for a day.
Yeah, give a man a fish, he'll feed him for a day. Don't teach a man to fish. He's a man, and fishing's not hard.
He's a grown man. Fishing's not that hard. We were watching with the government shutdown. We were watching Parks and Rec, and we were watching the episode where they shut the government down. And Ron is like, "How much are you going to cut? And can I watch you do it while eating pork cracklings?" And at the time, I was eating pork cracklings. So, oh my goodness, awful. In or out, awful. In or out. One.
Ayo.
All right. So let's get into our first story before we get on to our main topic of the night. We have a couple of them this week. Get your super chats in. We will read them aloud in between the various topics that we're going to be discussing here. So the first one here, Mercedes Mone is working indie promotions outside of AEW, but her indie bookings come with specific terms that promoters have to agree to. Kevin Apollo, take note in case you want to bring her in. A recent report showed the real details of what these deals look like, and there are some major rules attached. I'm sure there are. When indie promoters want Monet for their event, they're going to need to meet her standards. According to reports, quotes for her appearance have reached $25,000, though AEW President Tony Khan recently stated that Monet isn't actually making much money from these bookings. Wait, what? Who's getting the 25 grand then?
To Tony, that's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like Tony hears 25,000 and he's like, oh, so
So can you go to like the movies with that or something?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Buy
gas money. Like that's his handshake and a hot dog payday. That's 25 grand.
Jesus, drop me on my neck, Tony. I'm fine.
Yeah. A report from Fightful talked about how her team handles these bookings. It said that people contact her management for the exposure from her appearances and winning the promotion's titles. Monet has one big rule for a match. She won't take a booking unless she's winning the match. Yeah, I'm shocked by that, which isn't negotiable. Multiple promoters have reportedly told the same thing. So no matter what promoters are paying, they already know she's winning before the bell even rings. It doesn't matter what the story is, what fits the event, or what makes sense. She is walking away with the win every time.
So how is she going to lose the titles?
She's not going to. Like I said,
okay.
She will end up losing all of them at one time, and whoever beats her will vacate all of the indie ones, and then the respective promotions will have tournaments for it. She's not going to lose. They'll be lucky if they can get her to lose once, let alone to lose 12 different times.
They're going to treat the winner like Robin Hood. Here you go. Here's your title.
You get a title. AEW has strict rules about this. They don't want her taking losses outside the company. Yeah, right. It's AEW's rule. Unless she loses on their TV first. According to the same outlet, All Elite Wrestling will also not be okay with her taking a loss. So
it's her and All Elite that nobody wants her to lose.
Nobody wants her to lose except for everybody in the world.
Right. Except for two people.
Yeah. The only two people that matter in this situation. Yes.
So basically it's a $25,000 commercial, right? It's a $25,000 Instagram post is what it's.
How do you recoup that in ticket sales?
Yeah, to get your belt shown on TV, and the one, when she wins it, they will talk about it, but then never again after that. Because how often do they actually run down the belts that she has?
Oh, never. They and if you want to see how many people she brings in, Beard can speak to this better than I can, but I'm pretty sure like they were touting how many people went to that Winnipeg show that she won the title at, but I'm pretty sure after they brought her, like after they announced her, they only sold like 200 more tickets. Like most of the tickets were sold before they even announced her. So I don't know how big of a draw, like, is there, I don't know. And of course I'm not in these circles, but I don't know who would like go out of their way to go see an indie show they don't normally go to because Mercedes is there.
No one.
Wouldn't it be more effective for her to like get the percentage of the ticket sales?
No, because they're not selling.
No, because she's not actually going to draw any fans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You only do that when you know you're going to draw a lot of money. Like, didn't Beard say that like they had sold like X amount of tickets, like over 1,000 tickets before she was announced, and then after she was announced, it was like another like 200 and something tickets.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I was just talking about. Yeah.
And how much were the tickets?
I mean,
that's the question of the hour.
Awful would know. I mean, not awful.
I wouldn't know. $6,000 for a front row seat. I don't know. But I'm guessing lot tent in Winnipeg.
I'm guessing the money that they're thinking that they're spending money because they get, like I said, they get the Instagram post with her with the title. They get every time someone lists the titles, they get mentioned, that kind of stuff. I guess it's a goodwill gesture to AEW, so maybe you hope that they will start helping you out a little bit.
Look, I'm going to say what I said in the beginning of AEW when all the guys were taking indie bookings. They don't draw for AEW. How are they going to draw for the Knights of Columbus?
Yeah, it's true.
For Extreme Pro Wrestling Max in Sheboygan.
Right, unless you're sending Bryan Danielson out there or Edge or some, and these aren't the guys doing it. It's Daniel.
Yeah, they're not going to have a match. Those guys are going to do an autograph signing and then be done with it, like Kevin Nash.
Right. Oh, see, Bryan Danielson did a thing at schools. He did a school speech where he went and said like, don't do drugs and be a good student or something. It's like, I was just thinking like, oh yeah, not a family friendly product though. They're not marketing to kids, but Bryan Danielson's visiting schools, but it has nothing to do with them marketing to kids.
And then all the kids think his name is Daniel Bryan when he shows up.
Exactly.
All right. Well, so I mean, I'm actually shocked that it's only $25,000.
Really? That's a lot of money, Marv. Especially for a tiny promotion. And her asking price is just way too much. $25,000. Really? Wow.
Well, and it's not, and it wouldn't be just $25,000 too. It would be $25,000 plus travel plus hotel, and I'm sure that ain't cheap because she's probably wanting to travel. She's not flying coach and staying at the Best Western.
Yeah, and unless Tony continues to let her use his private jet, and that's just I don't know. Boris says that apparently $25,000 quote is for indies she doesn't want to work for. Whatever.
But
that's what I've heard.
That's what you heard.
Like if she doesn't, that's what I wrote, and I might be the same report, but it was talking about how Mercedes would ask upwards of $25,000 if she was not comfortable working with that person, or she just wasn't interested in, even having a match
not just
with her.
say no?
Yeah,
exactly.
Why not just be like, no, I'd rather not?
It's not in AEW's vocabulary.
Well, that's more about her ego. She needs any minute she can to try to bring attention to herself. And if they're going to throw a new shiny at her to put on, of course she's going to do it.
So what would you say, Kev, being a promoter, being someone who books people, what would you say Mercedes Mone objectively is worth to bring her in?
A couple $1,000s tops.
I was going to say 2,000 to 2,500.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Anybody charging you more than that, unless it is, well, no, because Ric Flair couldn't even do that for people. Yeah, legitimately the only person, well, no, the only three people who actually deliver on their asking price are the Dudleys and Kevin Nash. Everybody else is a waste of money.
Well, so
I have a
let's say
question.
Mercedes is asking for $2,500 and your promotion charges $15 a seat. You'd have to be able to think to yourself, okay, she has to at least bring in 167 people to make this worth my while. Will she do that? That's the question.
I doubt it. Maybe if it's in a high school, because it's a slightly different energy. That's a TV watching crowd. So maybe some people remember Sasha Banks. Maybe there's a couple of kids who watch AEW. Slash, if it's a fundraiser, people will go anyway. But if you're not in some kind of high school where there's going to be a built-in, juiced-in audience, no, it's absolutely not worth the money. It's stupid.
To justify $25,000, she has to bring in 1,667 fans, which at that point, because then now imagine you'd actually end up drawing almost 1,700 fans. That's just for Mercedes. You still have to pay the building. So if you're renting out a building, you're talking like a hockey rink or something like that to rent that out or to hold that many people. Or like an expo center or something like some massive building that's going to cost you an arm and a leg, plus insurance, plus all the other talent on your show to justify that expense.
How far off are we from marketing to the event? That's a big X factor there. Like if you know you have Mercedes Mone coming into town, 2 months in advance? If you're not a good if you're a good promoter, you could possibly get those people in that building, but you got to be damn good, I'm sure.
The problem is people don't really understand, especially on the wrestling side, what a promoter actually does and what the wrestlers are actually supposed to do. So that's the first part. The promoter's job is to get you the building and say, hey, look, we're here. It's the wrestler's job to promote that there's a show happening. And wrestlers don't do that anymore because they're fucking lazy. And they're expectant.
I remember back when you started, Kev. I remember you were always out there papering. Yeah. You were out there putting up flyers. You were talking to buildings to become ticket vendors. You were doing all that stuff when you were brand new.
That's the bare ass minimum that you're supposed to do as a wrestler. Right. I've always loved stories of Michael Hayes talk about how they would rent a flatbed truck and drive Tony Atlas around black neighborhoods and tell him to flex.
It's crazy. Oh, go ahead.
I was like, look, because it's just that's what you had to do to get people to come to the bill. I actually had a whole conversation today with an old lady. Well, I can't say old lady. She's not that old, but an older lady about how wrestling used to come a couple of towns over, and how people would go crazy because there really doesn't much that happens over here. But like the wrestlers would sometimes show up like 2 or 3 days earlier, eat in town, and talk to people to try to get you excited for the show. So it's like you can't even get a fucking indie wrestler to make an actual a fun post about their about a show, but they act like they did something because they put up a poster on their Instagram feed, which is just other wrestlers and their family members.
Yeah, and the promotion nowadays, like that's why guys like Ben Bishop and Matt Cardona are so like above everyone else, is because they actually work. They actually put in the work and the effort to try to promote these shows. Matt Cardona is not an exceptional talent. I'm sorry. He's a good promoter and he got himself over and he works hard. That's what Matt Cardona does. And more guys could do this if they wanted to do something other than like if every indie woman has a social media page where they post pictures of their butts, but they're not really doing anything to promote their shows. They're doing things to promote themselves and trying to drive up their price and that kind of thing. But ultimately, they're not worth the amount of money because a lot of their fans are in other parts of the country because all they're doing is looking at her butt, or it's and male wrestlers do it too. It's like the biggest thing I see from indie wrestlers now is look at this bump I made. Look at this bump. Look at this bump. Maybe I'll go viral. Maybe I'll go viral with this.
Right.
And you're trying so hard to go viral. Like if you were just promoting the show. I remember, like Kev was talking, it was like you'd see the indie wrestlers right after training or whatever go around and just putting posters up everywhere. There were several times I got free tickets to shows because I'd see the wrestlers putting posters up, and I'd be like, hey, you're working this. They'd be like, oh, I'll put you on the list. Come in, and that kind of stuff. They just don't do that anymore.
Yeah, that shit is bound to work. I mean, they don't do it often anywhere. I mean, even when the local carnival does it, it's something to see. You see it on the front window of a convenience store or whatever, and it catches the eye. It's very simple marketing, and it just don't try to go viral worldwide. Try to go viral in the little town or hamlet that you'll be working in this weekend, so that everybody knows you. So that by the time the event happens, you've got a fair amount of people in the building.
Well, and if you go back to the territory days, the guys were promoting the shows too. They were doing it in different ways. Obviously, they were like, Junkyard Dog would be going out to the community, in Louisiana and doing events, or you'd have Chris Jericho and Lance Storm going out there and bedding half the female population.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah,
to enable the rat economy. But yeah, I was thinking about like guerrilla, like this conversation brought me back to something that was like guerrilla marketing. When I was in high school, we had this like strongman group come visit and do an assembly, and it was all about like empowering yourself and overcoming the obstacles in your life. And they would do it.
Oh,
inspirational speeches while like crushing like full soda cans, or like one guy bent a frying pan into a ball. Like they were
right.
like, come to our show tonight at the community center, and we're going to be breaking stuff with fire. And we were all like, yeah. And we all showed up, and they were like, yeah, welcome. Now let's talk about Jesus.
Yep. Jesus. That's what it's always about.
Like, wait, what?
We had the other end. I had the.
Now here's one book I can't break in half.
I can tear some book, but I cannot tear this one.
I had the karate guy who his claim to fame was he showed us a clip of him getting kicked by Chuck Norris in a movie somewhere, and he was talking about how, but it was all he'd break boards, and then he'd go like, and don't do drugs. If you do drugs, you won't be able to be where I am, and so. And then he found out that it was community service. Is what we got.
That's perfect.
To bring it back, I was going to say, if you're going to book a wrestler. And this goes whether it's your run-of-the-mill indie guy or a name, you've got to sit down and factor in your what's the seats to asses ratio that they're going to bring in.
Right.
So it's like Marv pointed out when he broke down the price of the tickets. If you're booking Mercedes at her ridiculous rate, she's got to bring in 1,000 people.
1,700 almost.
Yeah. So she's got to be able to do that by herself. And then you've got the rest of your wrestlers. If you're in a state that takes it seriously, you need an ambulance. Maybe you need a doctor. Sometimes both. If you're in New York and you want to be retarded, you've got your building rentals. You got your concessions. You've got to have your insurance, depending on where you are. Not in Jersey. So like there's a shit ton of money that a promoter has to drop before a single ticket gets sold, which is also why it's so irritating to deal with the modern wrestler, because they're selfish and they don't understand the business of doing business. Anybody who's booking Mercedes is a fucking mark, and they should be embarrassed.
And then, Kevin, another expense to keep in mind for any aspiring promoters out there, after you've sold all your tickets and gotten all your money and paid all your talent, you then have to pay sales tax on the tickets that you sold.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah. New York used to have the commissioners just shake you down. They pull up, they would make you number your tickets. Then they'd actually look at the physical tickets that are printed to line them up with the numbers. And then right then and there, they go, okay, this is how much you owe us.
Yeah.
Now they just give you a piece of paper, and every couple of years go, you send us your paperwork so that we can tell you how much money you owe us because we're too lazy to come out.
Mm-hmm.
If you're an indie promotion in St. Louis in the early 2000s, you have to set aside $200 to pay Bob Orton to let you run.
It'd be a shame if I came here and blood all over your mat.
All right. BT23 sounding off. Says, how does Mercedes winning indie belts help indie themselves for the long term, especially when AEW can barely draw crowds? It's exactly that. They're not drawing on television. They're not drawing crowds for AEW. How are they drawing crowds for a local indie show? It doesn't make any sense.
The only way that it could work is if she only would have to do this a couple times if she showed up at one of these companies unannounced, because then you could say that people will just keep buying tickets to the company because you never know when Mercedes is going to come and defend her title.
It's a risky one.
It's a risk, and not only that, but to be true, Mercedes would have to have a strong fan base that aren't just simps on the internet, right? Like you have to have people who actually pay to go see you. And
I have a question. Has this ever happened in professional wrestling before? And if not, I'm sure there's a reason why. Where someone has just gone willy-nilly collecting belts from independent promotions and startups, I guess.
Austin
Kurt Angle won every belt in TNA when he first showed up.
Yeah. What's his
name?
I
know, but that's in-house. You know what I mean?
Austin
That's
Aries.
in TNA.
Austin Aries.
Yeah, Austin Aries. Didn't Cardona do that for a little bit?
He wasn't really winning titles. He was defending his title at all kinds of
but they were actually going to going back to the indie feds to defend them, not just using them as a prop on television.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, no, this is I think this is pretty unique. So all right, we will be waiting. We will be reading out the rest of your super chats as they come in, guys. But walk us through what this is.
Okay, so this is funny. Donovan, by the way, Ultimate Dragon in Japan won that in one shot. It was the J Cup, and he didn't go around to different companies and won it. So, okay, so on Sunday, WWE posted a video of a guy walking down a hallway, and there was no text. All it was a video, and in the very butt end of it, you could hear the intro to Back in the Saddle Again by Aerosmith. And then a couple hours later, they posted another one, different feet. A couple hours later, another one, different feet. A couple hours later, another one, different feet. Meltzer immediately started posting and saying, the first feet look like Gunther. So it looks like it appears to be Gunther's return.
Gunther's shoes?
Breaking news. Not only am I a dweeb, I'm a creep and love men's feet.
And then some other sites started posting those kind of look like, if you look at Jericho's rocker shoes, those are what Jericho wears when he's a rock star. But then when he wrestled in Japan, he wore loafers. So the first set of feet, all the different internet sites were going nuts and trying to figure out who each one of these people were, and if it was a faction, or if it was a return, if it was one guy, if it was multiple guys. The last one was Brock Lesnar, so everyone's like, oh, it's Brock Lesnar. And then because Dave and all those guys got into it, the rest of the internet went crazy and started saying, oh, well, these feet look like this, and if you look at the gait on this guy, it looks like it could be Bronson Reed. But if you look at
we're getting that into gosh, I'm so glad I don't pay attention to
people were nuts. And this was, by the way, this is over a course of about 12 hours. Okay, people are just going nuts over this, and it ended up being a commercial for WrestleMania 42.
I know, all that build up.
but the thing is that the build up was from everyone else. Like WWE just posted pictures of feet. And so
Tony Atlas went crazy.
Yeah, so
no, these are boys' tootsies. Tony don't get down like that.
Yeah. And so everyone built this up in their minds. And then when it's just a commercial, everyone's like, WWE should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah.
For teams
Matthew Hofstetter here said the IWC lost their fucking mind that this wasn't Gunther or Jericho. AEW Culture and Cultaholic released angry hate videos on how dare the WWE didn't give them what they wanted.
Right. It's like, guys, this happens all the time. Like, how many times have you seen Disney post a teaser for a commercial? It happens all the time in media now. This is just what
the trailer for the trailer.
And you can't, there's a rule that everyone should follow on WWE, which is if it's not on TV, it doesn't count. Anything that they post on social media or something like that, wait for television before you start getting excited about it. Because how many times has this exact thing happened where it's like
so many
WWE
times.
WWE posts a picture of The Rock, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, The Rock's gonna main event WrestleMania. The Rock's gonna start a faction with blah blah blah." And then it turns out The Rock is just gonna mention WWE on an interview next week, so that's why they posted him. You can't. This happens over and over again. And I was in an argument with somebody who was like, "Don't you think that next time WWE decides to do this, or if they ever do decide to actually use this to introduce a new superstar, that everyone's gonna look at this and go, this is just no way this is real and not take it seriously?" And it's like, no,
they wouldn't do that.
And not only that, but normal people are okay. Here's what a normal person does: they see that and they go, I wonder what that is. And then it turns out to be a WrestleMania thing, and they go, "Oh, it's a WrestleMania thing." Okay, and then they move on. They don't spend 12 hours fantasy booking what it could possibly be.
Beard put it best. Now they're gonna cry saying WWE didn't deliver when WWE didn't promise anything.
Right? It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's about the long and short of it. The
By the
WWE
way-
has done a masterful job of working people into a shoot.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
LK right now is watching Halloween Havoc 91 as we're going, I guess, to catch up with us. He says, "Wait a minute, World's Strongest Man comp winner Bill Kazmaier was wrestling in 1991."
We got to do it.
Bill
We
was.
gotta, Marv, let's just
And he
do
was
it.
awesome.
We'll
Let's
get
just
to
do it. Let's just do it. Let's just do. If we get to the Dave thing, we get to the Dave thing. Whatever. I don't care. I want to talk about Halloween Havoc right now.
Yeah. There's a Dave thing, and I don't care enough. We have got to talk about our big show this week that we watched, and that show is Halloween Havoc 1991, the Chamber of Horrors match. It was so good. It was
Is that the one where Muda has to do the mist to put up?
No. That's the
No,
Thunderdome.
sadly, unfortunately.
That's the Thunderdome. That's an 89.
This is El Gigante, Sting, and the Steiners, and this poster is so wrong.
Because no, if you go, I have it on my phone. Like 90% of the matches were changed on the spot.
Yeah, the poster says they were against Oz, One Man Gang, the Diamond Stud, and Barry Windham, and only one of those guys actually made it to the match.
Right.
Barry Windham got attacked at the. Are we going to talk about that part of the show?
No, I'm going to go through it. So, yeah, let's get into it. Kev, I'm assuming you didn't watch the show, so do you remember? You've seen it though.
Yeah, I've seen it many times.
So this comes from the Halloween Havoc 1991 from the UTC Arena in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Your commentary team for the evening are Jim Ross, a young and excited Jim Ross, and Tony Schiavone.
And by the way, I bagged on Tony Schiavone last time we did this. He was great on this show.
Yeah, because he's following Jim Ross. Right.
He's exactly. He should just be a color guy. That's what he always should have been. You know,
Tony Schiavone with Jim Ross. That was a great commentary team. I liked them a lot together.
Let me tell you something. It felt like they legitimized the entire event just by their presence. Jim Ross has such a sportsman's, a sportscaster look. And at the time, Tony Schiavone did too, I guess. But they both have that great. Yeah. Tony Schiavone in his red bow tie and black tie for Jim
JR.
Ross. But yeah, JR, yeah. It was they just legitimized the event. Their voices, their commentaries, just it was great this night.
So
the
awesome. One thing that we're going to find out on this show is who is the WCW Halloween Phantom, and they are very, very into who this could possibly be. And we are cutting to Eric Bischoff outside. Now, you know how WWE does the thing where all of the guys, like, they show them all walking into the arena? Well, WCW, I guess, was doing that too, but instead it was just Eric Bischoff in the parking lot as one by one, everyone pulled their cars up, got out, talked to Bischoff, got back in their cars, drove away, and then the next one came up.
You got to paint this picture great, Marv, because the first car that comes up is Cactus Jack
and
Abdul the Butcher in a, what was that, a Crown Victoria?
Yeah, so Cactus Jack was originally supposed to wrestle Bill Kazmaier on this show, by the way. That was his original, up until right now, like in the world, that was the match that was announced for this show.
Right.
So they swapped Oz and Cactus Jack?
Yeah, they said Cactus Jack wanted to be in the match, so he got to be in the match. Abby was wearing a tuxedo for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, it's your last night on this earth because you're going to be electrocuted in an electric chair. So next guy that pulls up is the Diamond Stud, which you guys might notice looks a lot like Scott Hall,
right?
And Diamond Dallas Page,
who is bigger than everyone around him.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. Like, he towered over Eric Bischoff, and so did Scott Hall. Like, it was like, look at the size of these behemoths out here.
Well, it was back when wrestlers were men. Then you have Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes pull up, and they immediately get jumped by the enforcers, Larry Zbyszko and Arn Anderson,
who, by the way, weren't feuding with Barry Windham and Dustin Rhodes at this time.
No, I think Arn Anderson is just always in a constant state of feuding with Barry Windham.
Just like the last time they'd interacted on TV, Barry Windham and Arn Anderson were friends, and then suddenly they hated him so much they had to attack him when they got out of the car.
But also, Barry Windham is on the heel team in the Chamber of Horrors, and Dustin Rhodes, super babyface, the natural Dustin Rhodes, 21-year-old son of the American Dream, is driving with him to the arena.
Yeah.
So the enforcers of that was their tag team name, the Enforcers, Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko, beat up Barry Windham, and then Dustin gets in the driver's seat, throws Barry Windham in. It
literally throws. Barry Windham has just either broken his arm or his leg. I couldn't tell what it was when they slammed it. And Dustin manhandles him.
Yeah, and he shoves him in the car like luggage.
He basically crams him into the glove compartment of this car and drives off to take him to the hospital.
Yeah, and then but that's also he started driving away, and then Bischoff just goes, Dustin Rhodes taking Barry Windham to the hospital. No one mentioned a hospital at any point.
Well, I guess you just kind of figure at that point. But now the best thing about it is Dustin Rhodes is in a match later on this show, which means that in gimmick here, Dustin Rhodes pulled up to the hospital, literally kicked Barry Windham out the door onto the sidewalk, and drove back to the arena for his television title match against Stunning Steve Austin.
Oh, what a way to start the show! And so should we didn't really mention the set too much. Although
I was literally just going to say the set is so great. It looks
atrocious.
The set looks like a middle school stage production of a haunted house.
I was gonna say it looks like the front of a house on Halloween that's decorated by a wine mom. Like it has the it had the tombstones that were all puns, and then the one that attacked the sports team, like, oh, here lies the Twins, 1991.
Oh, Dusty.
But one was like, here lies Bear, he had no heir. There was
it's like the haunted mansion at that point.
Right.
Like dear old Fred, a great big rock fell on his head.
Right. Yeah.
So, okay. So the Chamber of Horrors. Let's see my notes here on this.
So I have some notes about stuff going into this match. You want me to
get that before
we get started? Okay. So, as I said, Cactus Jack was not scheduled for this match. Neither was Abby. They both got added day of, and the storyline reason was Cactus Jack and Vader. The storyline was Cactus Jack wanted to be in the match, so he is in the match, I guess. There were no feuds leading into this match. The Steiners hadn't been on TV in months. Cactus Jack had feuded with Sting like a few months before, but he was not feuding with them at this time. They had some interactions, but other than that, there was no feud going into this match at all. Sting had teamed with El Gante, but that's the only connection that people had going into this.
How about when they start the entrances disc, El Gigante comes out first for Team 1, and then Vader, the Diamond Stud, and Cactus Jack come out. And then the Steiners and Sting, and then Abdullah the Butcher.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, they did them it's like they went, they did a snake draft or something when they did this. I had no idea.
So at first, when El Gigante came out and then Vader came out, I'm like, oh, is this two guys start and then we war game style? And then I was like, this is an interesting duo to start with. But then, everything just kept going. So I was like, is there a reason?
I don't know, man. I got to give it to El Gigante. I think El Gigante looked a little spry You know, he moved well. You know,
did.
it looked like if only he knew how to do a suplex or a body slam. I mean,
Scott
he was all right.
Scott Steiner wasn't cleared when he wrestled this match. He just did it. Like without the doctor said no, and he said, screw you, I'm going to wrestle anyway, and did. Also, the way they built this match was they sent Missy Hyatt and Paul Heyman out around America to find the Chamber of Horrors cage. That was the entire build for this match. It was if they could discover the cage for Chamber of Horrors. It had nothing to do with any of it.
Where did they find it?
Dusty Rhodes was the booker at this point.
Yes.
Oh God.
And I saw that like he had people helping him, like Kevin Sullivan was around and a couple other people were there, but Dusty was on top. So
Dusty Rhodes sucked all the air out of Ron. Well, we'll get to it.
We'll get there. You're getting ahead of
yourself. I am.
So when Vader comes out, he shakes the cage and almost pulls the cage down. Did you notice that?
Yeah. This cage is the worst cage in terms of like stability.
Yeah. So Sting and Cactus start brawling on the outside and they throw Cactus into the cage. And again, the cage almost falls down.
Yeah. I guess we haven't sold them how we're supposed, so we don't know how you're supposed to win this match at this point. They don't tell us until like 2 or 3 minutes into the match. But there's a switch on the side of the cage that keeps falling.
Switch.
The point of the match is that you're supposed to get somebody in the electric chair and then throw the switch. But the switch keeps falling by itself, and Randy Anderson keeps having to climb up the outside of the ring to put the
Not only does the switch keep falling, because the switch is in the off position, which is the up position. You're supposed to pull it down. Right. I don't know why the down position wasn't just down and you had to pull it up, because that would have made sense.
Right.
But it keeps falling, and they're like showing the switch, and it's very clearly in the on position, and then Cactus Jack fixes it, and it immediately falls again.
So my favorite thing that happened at this point. My favorite thing that happened at this point in the match, right in the beginning, is like the Steiners go over and they grab one of the caskets and throw it down to the ground, and there's somebody in it.
Some random freaking dude in a mask jumps out, and the Steiners demolish him.
Like I don't. It looked like they didn't know he was in it, or they thought he was in a different casket or something.
What the hell are you? Get him!
Yeah, so they just beat the crap out of him. He's just some dude in a mask.
He comes out of the casket and like knocks the casket over like onto Scott or Rick. I forget which one. And then they just beat the piss out of this guy and then handcuff him to the cage. And like every once in a while, they just kick him again or something like that.
And I know you said El Gante was spry, but at this point, I don't think El Gante knew who he was wrestling against, because he's just kind of aiming at everybody.
Right.
And Rick Steiner pulls out a chainsaw at one point.
Because Cactus Jack came out with it.
Yeah, he tries to activate the chainsaw, and it doesn't work, and he just throws it away. I'm like, what was the end game here?
And like Abby starts climbing the cage for some reason.
This is throughout this match. They're climbing this cage.
Yeah. For what reason? We don't know.
No one did a move.
Because it's not like you can climb out.
No, and it's not like you can stand on top of it. No one did any moves off of the cage. No one utilized. It was just, they would just climb. Abby would climb the cage, or Rick Steiner would climb the cage, and they'd sit there for a second, and then someone would grab him and pull him down. But I don't know why they climbed it in the first place.
Or they bashed their head into the.
Did you guys notice that every time the Steiners got their hands on Mick Foley in this match, they basically cornholed him?
Yes.
Like they brutalized him in this match.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think Rick Steiner or Scott Steiner or Rick Steiner? What do you think either of them did when they were being pitched this match? Like, could you imagine Scott Steiner being told about this match, what it's going to be?
The best part is, in the beginning of the match, they say you have to strap somebody into the chair of torture and flip the switch. And you're looking at the ring and you're like, there's no chair in that ring.
The match beyond.
3 minutes into the match, they lower the chair into the ring.
And then they just stop. They just stop wrestling. Everyone just stop.
Well, the Steiners immediately throw Foley underneath it to try to crush him to death.
Right.
He gets out of the way because it's basically the steamroller in Austin Powers 1, where it's just going so slow that there's no tension whatsoever about this.
And then they just all stand there and watch it fall. Like
there's nothing that can be done. They cut off like 30% of the ring.
Scott Hall and El Gigante very clearly just grabbed each other, got in a corner, and was like, "Hey, yo, we're staying here but a whole match," because they basically do. Rick Steiner at one point climbs the cage and then just climbs down.
Yeah,
he climbs up there to be like, "What's up here? Nothing." Okay.
That was the time that the other person suddenly appeared out of nowhere.
Yes.
There was, I guess I didn't see him come out of the casket, but apparently somebody else was in a casket at another corner of the ring, and he was just there, and he's handcuffed to the cage just like the other one is. And I don't know how it happened, but it happened.
It's crazy. You'd be hard pressed to figure out where Sting was in this match. Like he's shown for like 5 minutes and then you never see him again.
Correct. So the electric chair is now in the ring. So now the electric chair is in the ring. There is literally no room to do anything in this ring anymore.
Nothing.
And there's no room to do anything outside because it's not like Hell in a Cell where you've got all this room. Like you can move on the ape, you can move outside the ring, but not by much.
Well, there's caskets in every corner. There's crap on the ground. They started calling Abby's staff a kendo stick for some reason. El Gigante is literally...
The ring was supposed to be filled with what they said. It was the cage was going to be filled with instruments of torture, and there were just 4 wooden caskets.
Yeah. and sticks. Like at one point, Jim Ross goes, "I don't know where all these sticks came from, but there's sticks everywhere."
And the jobber.
El Gigante is just walking circles around the electric chair.
Yeah, he has no idea what this chair is doing in the ring. No one has explained it to him. And then we get to the point where all of a sudden, about 10 orderlies dressed all in white, pancake
that was
white
ridiculous.
Makeup, bring a stretcher out to the side of the ring and just sit on the ramp. They never do anything.
Yeah, they're in scrubs and white face paint for some reason. And Tony Schiavone called them the ghouls. So I guess they're the ghouls.
They were the ghouls. Yeah, they were just when you have a match this bad, the ghouls come out.
And yeah, the chat brought up a good point. Alan Thomas. They also had cameramen in the cage, so they're walking around too. So they're
the referee cam.
The referee cam. The referee cam was the worst. First of all, it made the referee look like a special needs kid who won a contest.
That's exactly what I thought.
Because he's wearing this giant helmet in the ring. And then whenever they cut to it, it's like looking down at people's legs.
Or breaking up. It's like Awful's mic is what it
the referee mic.
Awful as the referee mic.
You know what? Mick Foley, bless his heart, is trying so hard in this match.
He bled like a stuck pig, dude.
He blades like everybody else is probably like, Mick, you don't have to bleed in this. Like, let's just get this over with. And he was determined to make this work. Clearly, I literally wrote Foley is bumping his ass off to try and make this work. Then I just wrote referee cam.
Vader looks miserable. He looks like he wants to be anywhere else but in this match.
Yes. Vader is not happy at all. And then you get to the point where they show the lever and it's clearly in the on position. And JR is like, well, there you see, folks, the lever that you've got to pull down for the chair of torture. And you just hear JR will die a little bit because he realizes that it's already in the on position.
And they keep showing it. And they don't cut away. Randy Anderson is constantly walking up there. Every ref, by the way, has a black mullet. Every one of them has a curly black mullet. So you can't tell the difference.
They all look like Nick Patrick. Nick Patrick's the only one that kept the look.
And he couldn't even see Nick Patrick's hair because he was wearing the special needs helmet the whole time.
Right. And then Abby puts Rick Steiner in the chair. And Mick Foley climbs to the switch and is ready to pull the switch, but then doesn't because Rick Steiner then takes a minute and a half to put Abby in the chair while Mick Foley hangs on the side of the cage, because the spot is supposed to be they go to electrocute Rick Steiner, but at the last second, he puts Abby in his place and Mick electrocutes Abby. But it takes a minute and a half. So it's the literal dumbest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah, I remember Foley writing about it in his book, and he's like, a swift breeze would make that switch go down, but I couldn't for some reason. It took me 2 minutes to pull it down.
So then Abby gets electrocuted, and the ring catches on fire. And the referees all of a sudden start having to stomp out the fires in the ring.
The fireworks display was fantastic. Now,
I give the Monstar rating at the end. How many Monstars we give this? That's between 1 and 5, or 0 and 5. I actually gave this 2 Monstars because I was so entertained by it.
It was insane.
It was so bad. It's so fun to talk about and to even think about.
So now Abby, it's not over, guys. This isn't over.
No, they have to Abby's smoldering ruins are in the ring. And
well, Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone are talking about Abby like he's literally dead and making jokes about it. Like they're like, "Oh, is Cactus Jack gonna go give him mouth to mouth?" and then Abby just gets up and beats up Cactus Jack.
I was only an electric chair, Tess. It was only one electric chair.
But then they become friends again because, as Jim Ross said, Abby woke up and thought he was in heaven and just started swinging because he was in the wrong place.
Wait, so if Abdullah the Butcher woke up in heaven, he would immediately start trying to fight the angels?
According to Jim Ross, yeah. Which, by the way, good on Jim Ross. What a way to go to get out of that one, to try to explain it. Wow. And then the guys are pulling. So there's a ramp coming from the they have a ramp coming down. It's not, they don't walk on the aisle to come down. It's actual ramp, but they had to cut off part of the ramp to get the cage there. So they're bringing in the part of the ramp that was missing. And Abby kicks one of those guys, steps on the ramp, and then goes and beats up all of the ghouls who are still waiting.
He kicks the hell out of that one guy.
Yeah, he beats up all the ghouls.
Do you think the ghouls were indie workers or something like that? Was there such a thing at the time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If not, I mean, it could just be guys working, like their Saturday night, Saturday. They had a lot of weird guys there. I mean,
their enhancement talent.
Right. Yeah.
So after this match is mercifully over, we go back to in the back, Eric Bischoff and Missy. So Eric Bischoff, who just watched a man brutally get his limb broken in the parking lot, was like, well, show must go on. Let me go put my vampire costume on and be like, I want to suck your blood.
And Missy Hyatt.
Eric Bishop is a vampire and Missy Hyatt is a whore.
Missy Hyatt was a very attractive woman at this time, but she was not wearing anything that was enhanced her at all. Yeah. Like, I think their costume actually made her look worse than she normally does. But she was wearing, I guess she was Jane Fonda. I'm thinking that's what she was trying to go for.
I guess. So the Young Pistols come in and they don't care who the Phantom is because that's all Eric Bischoff and Missy Hyatt care about is who the Phantom is. They call it the Patriots for the U.S. tag titles, what was the end game of that? Because the Patriots end up losing later in this show.
Yeah, but they kept their belts. Yeah, they kept their belts. The Young Pistols, who, by the way, they're the Wide-Eyed Southern Boys.
Okay.
They're the Wild-Eyed Southern Boys. They're Tracy Smothers and Tommy Rich, I believe, was the other one.
Yeah, so they're saying they're from the blood of the lamb, too. Like, they're starting to use Christian iconography.
It was a good promo. Actually.
Yeah, not bad.
That promo, yeah. They ended up winning and keeping that title for a while. So,
all right, so our next match, the Mysterious Creatures versus PN News and Big Josh.
The Creatures
doesn't stream WCW Saturday Night.
The Creatures are Joey Maggs,
okay,
and Johnny Rich, who was Tommy Rich's tag team partner back in the day before he joined the Southern Boys.
Okay,
and if you don't know, Big Josh is Doink the Clown, Matt Bourne. So
were we so wait, Big Josh is Matt Bourne?
Yeah, Big Josh is Matt Bourne, Marv.
I did not know that.
Looks totally different,
yeah.
but yeah, that's Matt Bourne.
Yeah, okay, cool. So the mysterious creatures are from parts unknown, weight unknown.
Yes.
PN News comes out, and I'm like, where has this guy been all my life? Because he comes out and he does a rap, but like actually does it to a beat.
Yeah.
Like he actually does the rap instead of like John Cena, who would, I'm like, John, you're not rapping, you're rhyming. You are literally saying a nursery rhyme.
In the rap was written by a entry into the WCW magazine, and she was in the front row. So congratulations to her. I'm sure that's the only reason they had this match.
And they had to invent a tag team because like this was the first time the mysterious creatures were ever seen.
It's the last, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And I think Big Josh and PN News had like 2 other matches together. They weren't a tag team either. So,
by the way, PN
These
News,
2 were ghouls in the last match.
PN News got like some height with a drop kick too. Did you notice that?
You know, he wasn't bad. He I found out afterwards because I'm like, PN News was always just a wrestle crap joke to me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean I remember him a bit, but I
enjoyed him. I thought his offense was fun. Like he was just a good character. I'm shocked Vince never scooped him up.
He apparently had a pretty good run in Europe as the American Avalanche. He was kind of like doing the Earthquake Typhoon gimmick over in Europe for about 15 years. So there's
it's funny you mentioned that Marv, that you said I hope Vince McMahon, I'm surprised Vince McMahon didn't scoop this guy up. There's another character on this show who I was just like, wow, I'm shocked that Vince McMahon did not pick him up. Well, he actually did, but
there's a couple for me, and I think we'll get there. Yeah.
So at one point, PN News hits a Northern Light suplex, and JR calls it a fallaway slam.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Big Josh jumps off of PN News' shoulders at one point. That was neat. Big Josh, I guess his gimmick is he's a lumberjack.
Yeah.
He's their Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Okay. I mean, he's that without the USA, basically, is what he was.
And PN News wins with one of the damnedest top rope splashes I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. This was the actual worst match on the show.
No, it was not.
Oh,
this match was serviceable. I gave it 3 Monstars.
Really? Okay.
The 3 Monstars. Let me explain my rating system. 3 Monstars is just a passable match. It's a match that doesn't really make a huge impact on you, but you're just like, yeah, that was a match. It was fine. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. It was just a match. Okay.
You're not going to change this up like Dave Meltzer in like 5 years, are you?
Probably not.
7 Monstars.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was amazed and grateful that we don't go into the back for any promos or anything in between before the next match. We just go into the next match.
Yeah. Oh, Alan Thomas, you're right. I forgot. I'm not going to say it out loud, but yes, you're correct. So anyway,
that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I forgot.
So our next match is Beautiful Bobby Eaton versus Terrence Taylor.
What a good match!
Where did this come from?
This is the best Terry Taylor has ever been.
Ever.
100%. And I've always liked the York Foundation gimmick. I forgot how good he was in it. And I forgot Alexandra York, who, by the way, for those who don't know, is Terry Runnels. They were doing a gimmick where she was forming a team and they would battle people based on computer predictions. So like they'd use AI to determine how to beat their opponents.
In 1991.
Yeah. Come on, man. This was good.
Yeah, no, I liked it. And Terry wasn't bad on the mic either. Like,
no, he was. I was shocked. She
actually looked the part of like the corporate businesswoman. Terrence Taylor comes out with the like the full suit on, and I'm like, wow, he actually like really like dove into this gimmick, unlike Ricky Morton, who we would see later, who just was Ricky Morton.
Yeah, he looked like a star, man. He looked like, this was. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it.
So did you catch what JR said that Bobby Eaton was the number 7 ranked wrestler?
Yeah. Should we talk about the ranking system they were doing?
I was shocked that they had a ranking system.
And they followed it. This is the moment that I said, this is what AEW wanted to be when they started.
This was clearly like in the early 90s was like the Tony Khan peak fandom.
Yeah. Yeah. so much of this just rang like if AEW did things the way if it came off the way that Tony envisioned it in his head, so much of this would be what it was. Because the ranking systems actually made me care about the matches. Yeah. Like I was like, oh, he's number 7, he's number 4. Oh, he's gonna get a big win if he gets, it was exactly so silly.
I thought this match was so good. Good physical back and forth. I wrote. Really liked. Oh, they did a thing where Terry Taylor went to hip toss Bobby, and Bobby beautifully reversed it into an arm drag. I thought that was gorgeous, and then floated right into a hammerlock. There was actual ground wrestling in it.
The sit down power bomb on the aisle on the ramp outside. That was.
I like the ramp. I like the ramp that goes to the side of the ring. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I like it.
I like it because I like when they go out there and they like shoot the guy into the ropes on the outside.
Yeah, and I like that
that's there, nice. That's pretty cool.
And if you're there live, it gives them a place to fight outside of the ring that you can actually see.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been a proponent of the ramp that goes all the way to the ring.
That ramp looked stiff.
Could you imagine that part that they had to take off and what it must have been like? Because they took that bump right on the edge of where they switched to the movable ramp. And
so then at one point, Bobby, he's got Terry Taylor down on the ramp and he climbs to the top and he does a knee drop off the top. And I couldn't tell who got the worst of it because Bobby Eaton's knee smashes into the ramp, his like other knee, but his other knee mushes Terry Taylor in the face.
Yeah.
It was stiff as all hell, but it was fantastic.
Bobby Eaton.
I love the ramp.
Bobby Eaton has showed me here that he absolutely is passable as a singles wrestler. He was so 100%. Good. So good.
100%. I mean, look, we've all seen other Terry Taylor matches. None of them were ever this good. So it's just, it is a testament to how good Bobby Eaton was. There's a reason why, Cornette speaks so highly of him, why everyone speaks so highly of him, why the Midnight were probably the greatest tag team of all time. It was fantastic. I loved this match. And I was on the edge of my seat for it. I was like, wow, this is really good. So yeah. I gave
So neither one of you guys were watching when this was actually going down?
I was, but I was 6.
Okay.
Or 7, so it's like, what am I don't remember it.
Yeah. Do you remember watching this live, Oval?
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember, this entire era. Now I sound ancient, but when when Terry Taylor and Alexandra York were together, they were really getting over with a lot of people. I thought the character was great, and that it's one of the people that I thought Vince McMahon should have, at least at this time, reconsidered bringing him in with that gimmick.
Terry Taylor?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was that good, man.
Well, Terry Runnels was, about to destroy the Rhodes family. So
she had other plans.
She has a bail.
Wow. So Vince could have saved the Rhodes family if he would have brought him in.
Yeah, Dust. Well, then he never would have gotten Gold Dust.
Yeah.
Because Dustin would have just stayed in WCW the whole time.
Did we really need him?
Bobby Eaton wins with a top rope leg drop. I gave this match 4 Monstars. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I loved it.
Four means the match was exceptional. 5 means it was like generational.
Yeah,
like I'm really very picky with like 5. Like 5 Monstars is like Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania 25.
So 4 is basically your highest. 5 is the one you never give out.
Probably 4 is like I really dug this. 4.5 is I really dug it. So
now we're doing halves now. Okay, all right.
Just do 10. Okay, sorry. That's what.
So then we go into Jimmy Garvin versus Johnny B. Bad, and babyface Freebirds and heel Johnny B. Bad was really weird, especially because the Freebirds kept doing heel shit.
Yeah, this was a weird time. So Johnny B. Bad was a heel that the fans were kind of getting behind, and they were positioning to turn into a face. And on the other hand, the Freebirds were a tag team who were always heels, who were kind of getting fan support that they didn't think they would. So it was like this weird thing where it's like the heel, it was a heel versus heel match, but they wanted to turn Johnny B. Bad, but the Freebirds were the one that were actually getting support.
The Freebirds came out in Atlanta Braves jerseys in Chattanooga.
Yeah, but also that was a last minute thing because Michael P.S. Hayes was originally supposed to face somebody. He was supposed to be the heel against one of the matches later in the show. He was supposed to be a heel later in the show against one of the faces, and they gave him that arm injury because they figured out that he's not going to get booed in that area because it was Freebird country.
Well, so they gave an arm injury, but he was very clearly not injured because he kept taking his arm out of the sling and hitting Johnny B. Bad.
Right, yeah, and banging the the ropes.
But you cue me for $5. Says Chamber of Horrors is getting stuck in the same room as Tony. Moxley fears soap.
He was originally supposed to be against no, I don't know, dude. I'll look it up. Go ahead, keep talking.
BT23 for $2 also says, will AEW do a match like Chamber of Horrors? They did. It was called Anarchy in the Arena.
Yeah, Blood and Guts is kind of the same thing too.
Yeah, no, that's more Chamber of Horrors than it is War Games.
Definitely.
So keep your super chats coming in, guys, and we will read them as we go along. But so let's see this. So Braves jersey, they were doing the Tomahawk chop as they came out as well. Mero has more makeup on than modern female wrestlers, is what I wrote. Which
listen, say what you will.
Go ahead.
He was another one where it's just like Vince should have swooped him up immediately. He had the look. He looked like a star out there.
So
yeah, I know exactly.
The story I've heard is that Vince loved Johnny B. Bad.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And
that's
he
why
was
I heard that
confused as to why when he got Wild Man Mark Mero, he wasn't Johnny B. Bad.
So, he was supposed to fight Van Hammer and lose to Van Hammer later. But they wanted to get Van Hammer over their face, and the Freebirds were getting cheered. So
mission accomplished. We'll get to that later. Van Hammer. So JR talking about the Phantom again. We do the corner cheer spot where like the one guy gets up and they go boo, and the other one gets up and they go yay, and the other one gets up and they go boo. Every indie show with the draw from the 80s now.
Yeah.
Right. We were one honky tonk song away from it being an indie show at a Knights of Columbus.
But the crowd was into it. The crowd was into it, to be fair.
Yep. And I said babyface Freebirds are weird, but then I also said the two guys with the most longevity in the business were outside the ring. That was Michael Hayes and Teddy Long.
Yeah, I have a question for you guys. What do you think about Jimmy Jam Garvin and being part of the Freebirds?
I didn't mind him.
I thought if you're transitioning the Freebirds into being more of a hair metal and less of a Southern rock thing, then I think it works with Jimmy Jam Garvin. But I know a lot of people hated Jimmy Jam Garvin. So I just didn't know.
Garvin. I like the DDT was over as hell. They were chanting for it.
Yeah, thank you, Jake the Snake Roberts.
Mm-hmm. One thing I thought when I'm watching this match, so this is Johnny B. Bad's rookie year, right? 1991. It's his first year wrestling in WCW. He had more showmanship than most of the guys on that show. He was so ahead of his time because he was doing like the flashy move. Like when he would like do a jumping clothesline, I noticed he would like do it in a way that was flashy and impressive.
Yeah, that's he was Dusty's pet project. So I imagine Dusty was probably working with him quite a bit at this point.
He even looks like Little Richard.
This was before that song too.
I know.
Johnny B. Bad showed so much charisma in this match. I felt like it was like Michael P.S. Hayes was a little jealous, and they was trying to like scoop his like momentum a little bit. But that's just me. I thought Johnny B. Bad, looked through the television. It was an awesome character.
Well, so what do you guys think happened when Johnny B. Bad, Mark Mero, goes to WWE? The story I had heard was, Vince was confused as to why he wasn't being Johnny B. Bad, but the other story I heard was Vince lost interest with him before he ever debuted because they had that first meeting and he brought Reno with him, and Vince had the famous line to JR, "I think we signed the wrong Mero." Right,
because they can't use him. He likes Johnny. This is all headcanon, but this is what I assume. We all heard that he liked Johnny B. Bad. He can't use Johnny B. Bad though because he wants to use her, and they want to be a package deal. So you can't have a gay guy with Rena Mero. You know what I mean?
That
Like,
is so
Hey,
ridiculous. Who was Austin? Not Austin. I don't know. Adrian, adorable Adrian Street. The character's been done. It could have been done again.
yeah, but this was during the Attitude Era, and they already had Gold Dust.
Even more
They
so.
They couldn't do another is he or isn't he gimmick because they had Gold Dust, and that's
They don't have to do it. Is he or isn't he gimmick? They just do a gimmick.
I realize
Maybe
that's
all there is.
Maybe it was just a thing where Gold Dust got in the way, right? Like you can't really do another gimmick like that when you have Gold Dust, who is the ultimate version of that gimmick. You know.
By the way, I'd like to point out this image that Dis found is literally somebody made this match in like 2K25 or something.
It's the only image I could find of this match.
Jesus.
Was the whole thing with Johnny B. Bad was that he was gay? Like,
I mean, people.
No, it was just that he was a. What?
It was no when he first came in, that was a problem they had, was that the crowd would chant the F word at him and stuff like that. Mark Merrill's talked about it before. That
well,
you know,
I mean,
so
I never realized that Little Richard was probably gay.
Yeah. I don't
Never
think he
thought
was.
about it.
I don't think he was, but I think that it was.
No, he was. I just looked it up. He was openly gay for the rest of his life, but then his views on sexuality became muddled later in life, apparently.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what that means, but
I think he said on Dave Letterman's show that he was no longer gay.
So Hayes heals out while still a face. Johnny B. Bad did you notice Johnny B. Bad undershoots a top rope sunset flip?
Yeah.
And just lands on Garvin's back and then spikes himself.
Is this where he potatoed Garvin too? Because I know Garvin started bleeding, or one of them got potatoed. I don't know which one, but Garvin had blood on him around right after this point. So I figured that was what had happened.
Jimmy hits the DDT, but Teddy Long has the ref. Johnny B. Bad gets up and hits the left hook. Long pushes. So then Garvin gets his foot on the ropes, and Teddy Long pushes the foot off the ropes. And your winner is Johnny B. Bad. And
Garvin,
then JR calls Teddy Long Peanut Head.
Yeah, Garvin.
Yeah.
You know, have you never heard that? Have you never heard Peanut Head? Scott Hall called him Peanut Head all the time too. But yeah, Jimmy Garvin put his foot on the rope over the referee. The referee, Nick Patrick was counting on that side, like between them and the ropes. Jimmy Garvin put his foot over the referee onto the ropes. So the ref knew that he was on the ropes, but he still kept counting like he didn't. And then Teddy Long still pushed the foot off. It was such a bad finish. It was so convoluted.
Yeah.
But not a good match.
Missy Hyatt is in the back trying to find the Phantom.
My favorite. This is my favorite segment.
Hold on, we gotta get. She runs into Bobby Eaton, who's walking out with a pumpkin.
Bobby Eaton just storms through.
And basically insinuates that he's going to fuck the pumpkin.
He goes, I just won my match. I got to go celebrate. And then he holds up the pumpkin.
So now, do you think this is like conceived in his head as I'm going to go fuck this pumpkin? Or do you think it was like, it's Halloween, so I'm going to go make a jack-o'-lantern?
Or have pumpkin pie.
The first thing I thought is he's acting like he's holding the pumpkin the way somebody would normally hold a beer. When he held it up, like he's like, I'm gonna go celebrate. Like, you know, when you're celebrating, you have a beer, dude, I'm gonna celebrate. And you hold the beer up, but he held the pumpkin up instead. So maybe they he originally was supposed to have a beer, and then they told him he can't have beer because we're for kids. So he just grabbed a pumpkin.
So he's got the pumpkin and like a towel around him. So it very much makes it seem like he's gonna go fuck this pumpkin.
Oh man, you guys have your heads in the gutter.
No, dude, you cannot.
He's simply going to make a pie.
Pumpkin.
He's gonna make a pie.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how he celebrates his big win, by making a pie.
Exactly.
Like, because at first my mind, when he said, when he walked in, my first thought was, oh, he's gonna fuck that pumpkin. Like, that was the first thing I thought.
But we both had the same thought, and then both said it to each other in the group chat. We're both like, oh my god, he's gonna go fuck that pumpkin.
But then when he talked to her, and he's like, I don't have time for this, I have to go celebrate my match, and he lifted up the pumpkin. I'm like, yep, that's exactly what he's gonna do.
Exactly what's gonna go happen.
He confirmed what I was thinking already.
Does he actually carve a hole in it, you think, or no need?
Oh yeah, he does, and then he makes
Like
a
he's just
jack-o'-lantern.
breaking through like the Kool-Aid Man at that point.
Oh, that's what it is. He's making a jack-o'-lantern, but he's really happy because part of his thing when he makes a jack-o'-lantern is he gets to fuck it. That's what it is.
Lisa B said it's a jack-off lamp.
Lisa found it.
Yeah.
Well done. Ryan Damon,
God.
safer than fucking Missy.
Possibly, yeah.
She was
and nutritional.
Oh, what a good
Dated
segment.
Jim Ross later in life, though.
Yeah, good for him.
Oh, by the way, the last match, Johnny B. Bad and Jimmy Garvin, I gave 2.5 Monstars to.
I think that's generous, but okay.
Yeah, it was sloppy. 2 means like it was a bad match. 1 is like abysmal, and 0 is this isn't even a match.
Right.
All right, so coming up next, easily the best match on this show, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Stunning Steve Austin defends
I don't know, but we'll
TV title against the natural Dustin Rhodes.
Very
This
good match.
Awesome.
Very good. What can you
Right
say?
from the start, they came at each other with intensity. Dustin got the stiff lockup, backed him into the corner. They had great chain going. It was great. Like right out of the chain, Dustin hits the Dusty elbow. JR said, and I thought this was prophetic. He was just like, if I was drafting my own promotion, the first person I'd take would be Steve Austin. And I'm like, well, yeah, good call. Yeah, good. History will prove you that call ages like a fine wine. Super fast paced. Dustin is only 21 years old here, and then I looked it up. Austin is 27.
Wow.
Listen, Austin moves like he's so smooth in that ring, and it was just awesome to see. Like, imagine had he not gotten his neck hurt, and you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Austin was already
like his matches with Steamboat or the cage matches where he would take the cage first. Austin was next level, man. Like,
yeah, he knew his timing.
People only think of him as punch kick, stomp a mud hole, stone cold stunner, Luthez
press. You got to learn how to hop up off your feet, off your back, and turn around in a certain he's so swift, he's so fast. He was awesome.
That match that he had with Benoit, where I guess he decided that he was going to go out and remind people who he was.
Right.
Yeah.
And he goes out there and he works like Stunning Steve Austin again.
Yeah. But this time Austin was already, I don't want to say a veteran, but he had been working in world class for years. But he, with Chris Adams in there.
I think he started at 18, right?
Yeah, and you see a lot of Chris Adams, especially in his early work. There's a lot of Chris Adams in there,
and a lot of his money went to Chris Adams.
True.
Man, could you imagine if Chris Adams had been able to make that contract stick and he got like a percentage of like the Attitude Era?
That'd be insane.
Isn't it crazy to think that his manager at the time, what was her name? She was the one who actually coined the term Lady Blossom. She's the one that coined the term Stone Cold Steve Austin for him.
Yeah, that was
incredible.
His wife?
Yeah, that was his wife. And they spent like half the match looking at her boobs. That was half the match. Was the camera going over to look at her boobs?
They kept saying like Lady Blossom would like hide a foreign object or something like that. And JR was like, I don't know where she'd be hiding anything tonight.
Jim Ross was very dirty on this show too. Like he got to the edge of dirty and then he'd cut off, but
well, I used to love whenever he'd get to the edge of dirty on like the Attitude Era and he'd be like, I can't say more, folks, my mama's watching.
Right. And then Jerry Lawler
the mamas, though, Dustin Rhodes' grandmother is there. So Dusty's mama is in the crowd and they kept cutting over to her.
I thought that was Luthez right behind her.
Mind you, Dusty Rhodes is on this show later.
Yeah. Dusty Rhodes not here.
Somebody else, not his son. Not his rookie son in a title match. Just
Awful thought Luthez was behind him, but Luthez was talking to Tony Khan at this point, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Okay. In AOL chat room.
Right.
Dustin Blades in this match, which I thought was interesting.
Oh yeah,
you wouldn't think this is a match that would involve bleeding. In the middle of a card, just a straight up TV title match.
Mm.
This is where I wrote down This doesn't feel like the same show that had the Chamber of Horrors on it.
No, not at all. And they were still using TV title rules at this point too. So it was a 10-minute time limit match. Didn't go over. It was a TV title match.
Okay, so this is the thing that I miss the most in wrestling right now: time limits. And it's funny when AEW started, JR said they were going to do time limits. He was so excited about it, and then they never did.
They did one draw. They did one time limit draw, and people got so angry they never did it again.
Like F you for getting angry about that, man. That was like the drama of the ticking clock in this match was insane.
Yeah. They did it poorly too.
Timed it perfectly to the point where Dustin gets that last desperate lariat at the point where there's only 2 seconds left and he doesn't have enough time for the 3 count. It was perfect.
Well, Austin got his shoulder up too, right before 3 anyway. But he did. He had to throw his shoulder up like,
kid, I ain't giving you this belt. My wife could not wrap her head around the fact that this was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Neither could Max. Same thing. I'm watching this. I was watching this when Max was still here, and I'm like, "That's Steve Austin." He's like, "That's not Steve Austin." I'm like, "Absolutely, Steve Austin."
See, you know what? That's why I love that we're doing this now. Also, because you can show Max all this old stuff.
He loves it. He asked to watch some NWO stuff over the weekend, so we went back and watched some NWO stuff. But yeah, he's really liking it. So
my wife is so done with anything NWO because we were watching documentaries for a while, and every WWE documentary, it could be a documentary about Asuka, and at some point they will tell the story of the NWO. Like they tell that story in every documentary.
Over on the WCW Vault channel on YouTube, they released a 3-hour video called NWO Part 1, and it's literally everything they did. Every promo, every match, every story, everything.
They have the entire Hogan versus Sting feud.
Yeah. So anytime so I can just take Max and say, this is everything the NWO did. Watch it. And I'm surprised that it actually still, to him, I didn't think it was going to hold up to him because you have to, it's so different taken out of time, and not understanding where wrestling was back then, but it works. He still enjoyed it. So
have they ever done an Undertaker Kane Vault video?
I'm sure they will. I don't know if they have, but I'm sure they will.
Okay. So they have the story of the Undertaker, chapter 5, Kane's arrival. That's 3 hours and 40 minutes. I'm going to save that for later because
speaking of save for later, I have a comment from LK that I'm saving for later. That's really good.
Oh, there's the Inferno match. Okay, cool.
But yeah, this is a great match.
Yeah, this match. So they go to the Broadway. I gave it 4 Monstars. I thought this was absolutely wonderful.
And like you said, a completely different pay-per-view, completely different show than what we started off with.
Yep. So then we get a promo for Starrcade. And it's interesting because, Eric Bischoff has very famously always said he never considered Starrcade to be WCW's big show. And I was like, how could you even think that? Because I'm thinking back, when I think Starrcade, I think, Flair and Harley Race. I think about Flair and Vader, Nash and Goldberg, like that kind of stuff. But then you realize that most Starrcades were like the Battle Bowl, which is definitely not like a WrestleMania level event. So I get it.
And Bischoff said it was the one that made money. Halloween Havoc made the money. It didn't, say what you want about Starrcade and the prestige, but he didn't care about that. He cared about the money, and Halloween Havoc was where it was, man.
So next, from the Emerald City, Oz. I'm like, I literally wrote, what the fuck even is this gimmick?
Wait, you've never seen it?
No, I knew about it, but I had never seen it in action before. Because he comes out in the green robe, and from what I understand, at some point he had a monkey.
This is the wrong time to get into it because when he first came in, they did it because Turner had just gotten the rights to the Wizard of Oz, and they were it was WCW Saturday Night before they aired the Wizard of Oz colorized, right? So they were bringing the Oz in as like a synergy thing, and he came out with monkeys, and he came out with munchkins and he had the whole bit for the Wizard of Oz. So yeah, that was the original thing. By this time, he was just in a robe.
Yeah, he was just being Kevin Nash in a robe, essentially.
Right. But Bill Casimir, on the other hand,
versus Bill Casimir, who is legitimately was the world's strongest man.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they said he was
the world's strongest human being.
The world's strongest human being. He was actually in the Guinness Book of World Records for a while, I think JR said.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And he carried the earth to the ring.
Yes, he did. This match was slow. You had a test of strength gimmick. I wrote Casimir has a big bald spot. Crowd is dead. They don't know what they're doing. There was a lot of miscommunication, a lot of like, oh, now what do we do? Nash drops him on his head with a back suplex, like just folds him up like an accordion, and Casimir gets the torture rack for the win. I gave this half of a Monstar.
I like how Jim Ross seemed like taken aback that he did the torture rack. He's like, that's Lex Luger's move.
Hadn't Casimir already faced Lex Luger for the world title?
Yes, I believe so. He was pushed really hard in WCW, so I'd assume
I'm assuming he had name value at the time.
Right.
He did. It was a pretty big deal.
Like LK pointed out, like he knew who Casimir was, didn't know he was a wrestler.
Oh, okay.
So,
wow.
This match was about 3 minutes long.
Yeah,
it was nothing.
Mm-hmm. Coming up next,
speaking of nothing,
world, Van Hammer versus Pretty Boy. Heavy Metals Van Hammer versus Pretty Boy Doug Summers.
Please talk about the entrance.
For some reason, there were men jackhammering bricks in the entranceway during his entrance. What does this have to do with heavy metal music?
And he has the guitar. God. And he's just swinging the guitar around like it's.
I said to my wife while we were watching, I said, "What are the odds he actually knows how to play a single chord on that guitar?"
0%. And I think he's talked about that actually. He learned to play guitar as time went on, but when he started the gimmick, he had no idea how to play guitar.
So Summers is currently in the ring, so that should show you how this is going to go. I literally wrote, "Is Pretty Boy a sarcastic moniker?" Because this was an aggressively ugly man.
Yes.
So they botch a shoulder tackle and then do a weird clothesline right at the beginning. It's all Van Hammer. The crowd is dead silent. Slingshot suplex 1, 2, 3, 0 Monstars. This was not even a match.
If you want to know, if you want to have any point of comparison with Van Hammer, think Test. He was Test before Test was Test.
I don't know. Tested some good stuff, right?
Towards the end, and I'd say towards the end of Van Hammer's run, when he was with the flock and doing that stuff, he kind of found himself. He was okay at that point.
Van Hammer was at the time, it felt like he was pushed as the alternative for the Ultimate Warrior.
Okay. I can kind of see it.
Well, that would be then they go with the Renegade later.
Right, when Hogan came in.
That was 7, right, when they felt like they could do it.
But yeah, I mean, Van Hammer he had a great look. One of many guys in this show that have a great look, but just nothing to him, man. Nothing. I don't get why. I mean, I guess at some point they definitely had huge plans for Van Hammer.
It's very clear that they did, yeah. After this match, we get a Brian Pillman promo because they are crowning the first ever light heavyweight champion on this show. And then Terry Runnels cuts a promo with Richard Morton, who is literally just Ricky Morton.
In a suit.
Ricky Morton dressed as Ricky Morton, doing nothing differently other than calling himself Richard to go along with this gimmick.
Yeah, this was the finals of a tournament to determine the light heavyweight champion. So
Flying Brian versus Richard Morton. The referee helmet is back on this one, and it's so much worse in this than it was in the Chamber of Horrors.
I mean, I don't know. The Chamber of Horrors, it broke. At least it didn't break during this.
Yeah, but JR clearly hates the referee camera.
Yes.
Because Tony brings it up, and JR goes, "Well, you see the referee Nick Patrick's got that apparatus on his head, the camera." And then Tony Schiavone goes, You mean the referee camera? And JR just goes, whatever. Like literally just says whatever. I wrote heel Ricky Morton is weird.
Yeah, very.
Then I wrote referee cam sucks. This was definitely a different kind of light heavyweight match.
I liked the match.
I liked it too. It's definitely a solid match. I wrote Ricky Morton in 1991 already looked like an old man.
Yeah, he was playing the part too, right? Like he looked like a veteran. It looked like your classic like veteran versus rookie, type match.
I love the story of this match because Ricky Morton gets the advantage early and keeps it for like the whole match. And every time Pillman fights back, Ricky Morton finds a way to cut him off really quickly.
Yeah, Pillman was
the entire match was Pillman battling back from underneath, and Ricky Morton, who used to be the guy battling back from underneath, just cutting him off every step of the way. I loved it.
Yeah, they were doing a injury gimmick with Pillman too at this point, where he they kept saying like he probably shouldn't be in there. He's not clean, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But he was coming from behind and being the underdog. This was before he started, using the N-word and stuff on television.
Johnny may not be bad, but he sure be gay. So I said the pace builds really well because it gets fast paced toward like the late middle of the match. So I said really great heel cutoffs, taking the heat right back, controlling the pace. JR called the Enziguri a spinning karate kick and said it was shades of Inoki. Pillman wins with a front. So they spill to the outside and they're both getting back in the ring. Ricky Morton gets in the ring in the center and is standing up. Pillman gets up on the top rope and wins with a flying crossbody.
Yeah.
Which was a fantastic way to end the story that they were telling because Pillman catches him off guard. That's how he wins.
Right. It was a very good match. It told a decent story. If anything, I think maybe the announcers kind of detracted a little bit, but that was just because JR did not seem to like the style of wrestling.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you got a feeling that JR was like rolling his eyes at a lot of the stuff, considering like a flying crossbody was seen as like crazy at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is why when you said, like, oh, Bill Watts era WCW is crazy. You said that in our group chat. I'm like, yeah, you're jumping off the top rope an awful lot for this to be Bill Watts.
Yeah, I totally forgot. For some reason, I had in my head that he came in 91, but it was 92.
Yeah, 92. Yeah.
There was some, but I will say, I do stick by. There are some things about this show that seemed like Bill Watts had a hand in it or was on the phone with somebody.
Yeah.
Or like the way they built Ron Simmons later was very Bill Watts like. We'll get to that.
Awful. What'd you think of this one?
This match I didn't see.
Really?
You skipped
it?
No,
I missed this one. No. Probably. I'm not even sure. It wasn't on my my yo-ho-ho copy. But
yeah,
I missed this match.
Commercial release. There were some matches that were cut out of the commercial release. So if you were watching like a copy of the VHS or something like that, you might have not gotten it. Okay. WCW did that a lot back then because it was cheaper to get 2-hour tapes than it was to get 3-hour tapes. So because remember back in the day of VHS, you either had to get 2 hours or 6 hours. So they wanted to stick with the 2 hours, so they'd cut stuff out, and I'm pretty sure this was one of them that was cut out. So,
by the way, I asked the chat what their favorite Halloween Havoc matches are or moments, and you and Cumia said for 199 Piper Hogan 97 in a cage. That pretty much was the Chamber of Horrors cage.
Oh yeah, huh?
Like without the top.
Yeah.
Because the cage it's outside the ring, and then remember Savage almost breaks both his legs by jumping off of it.
Yeah, because they called it Age in the Cage because they had to get the ones they could climb.
Yeah,
since they couldn't climb the regular one. Yeah.
Cage. It was entirely too tall, also, and yeah. So I gave this match 3.5 Monstars.
Okay,
I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. It was a little better than good.
Yeah, I'd go there. Yeah.
Next up is the Z-Man Tom Zank versus the WCW Halloween Phantom.
Okay, the Phantom is my favorite.
This one I watched.
The Phantom is my favorite thing because he was at the beginning, he was the WCW Phantom, and then he became the WCW Halloween Phantom, and then he became the WCW Halloween Havoc Phantom, and then during the match, he went back to WCW Halloween Phantom, and then like they couldn't figure out what he was called, and his mask was like the part underneath the nose kept getting in his mouth, so it was like the mouth hole was on his
sticking
chin,
out through the
and
nose hole.
mustache was sticking out through the nose hole.
So I didn't spoil for myself who the Phantom was. So when I saw the mask, I just wrote in all capital letters, "Is that Rick Rude?" Because I was not expecting. So he takes off the cape, and he's in like phenomenal shape, and then like bum rushes Z-Man and starts hitting him with gorgeous offense. And then I see the close of the face. I'm like, oh, it's fucking Rick Rude.
It's clearly Rick Rude.
Yeah.
And Tom Zink, by the way, taking it like a champ. Tom Zink looked, Tom Zink, the best jobber in wrestling history, man. He looked like a champ. He made him look like $1 million.
He did. And then he beats him with the Rude Awakening, which Tony Schiavone calls out. But we don't actually unmask him yet to see that it's Rick Rude.
Right. We have to go through another match before we get to
that. Next up, tag team championships. You have the Patriots versus the Enforcers, which is Arn Anderson and Larry Zbyszko.
The Patriots from
Patriots are a soldier and a fireman
from WCW. They hailed from WCW Special Forces. It was Firebreaker. It was Firebreaker Chip and Todd Champion. And my number one takeaway from this match is, how the hell was Todd Champion not the biggest star in WWF ever? That man looks like Vince McMahon's wet dream. Yeah. Okay. Like these two guys were on so much steroids. Like, look at Firebreaker Chip right there. Look at that man. This is 1991, and that's what he looked like.
Arn Anderson certainly didn't look like that, but yeah, the one thing I wrote in this match was I love Larry Zbyszko's yells.
Yeah,
because people are grabbing him and hitting him and just go, oh, oh, oh. Like the entire match is Larry Zbyszko like exclaiming.
I love that. I loved when Arn Anderson started complaining that Firebreaker Chip was too oily and that he couldn't grab him.
By the way, Kevin Apollo used to have a joke about Larry Zbyszko with amnesia. Okay. And like everywhere he goes, everyone's like, Larry, and he's like, what do you people want?
Lazy Zbyszko, that's what I call him.
He was pretty lazy.
He spent holy cow. Match. Did you see I think he was trying to lock up with Firebreaker Chip, and it took him a whole minute and a half for them to do a collar and elbow tie-up. It was hilarious.
Oh, Marv, I have a question. I wrote this down. Did you get angry at the beginning of this match? If without me telling you why, I want to know if before the match even started, when the men from Special Forces came out, did you get angry?
I don't think so.
Okay, they threw balled up American flags into the crowd.
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was the thing. They were throwing balled up American flags into the crowd.
I got to be honest, I was distracted during this match.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I think I was dealing with like something in the back end with Geeks and Gamers or something like that. And I was like, okay, like, you know, kind of half watching this one. I gave it 3 Monstars because I thought it was fine. There was nothing wrong with it. It just was boring. The crowd was also beyond dead for this match.
Yeah, I actually have awful. We were kind of talking about how a lot of tag team wrestling, the psychology is out of it now. There's a lot of these tag teams don't understand the psychology of a tag team match. I was impressed with Firebreaker Chip and Todd Champion in terms of their psychology in this match. When to do a hot tag, what to do when you get a hot tag, who gets the hot tag, how the person who how the heater in the ring gets to the point where he needs to make the hot tag. They were a decent face tag team. Like,
look who they were facing. I mean, it's Arn Anderson in there and Larry Zbyszko. You know what I mean? So I'm sure they guided them through that entire match.
it made me think, though, my big takeaway was I think these guys could have been a decent tag team with a good gimmick. If they were given a better gimmick than the Patriots, where one of them is a fireman and the other one's a
gentleman.
Iraqi
I'm telling you, I saw this stuff live. They were okay. To me, they were okay. Now, of course, they didn't get over as much as they wanted to, but they were featured weekly on like main events and what was that other show? Saturday Night and things like that. Like I remember Firebreaker Chip distinctively because it seemed like they wanted to push him in a singles direction, but I guess didn't really, pan out that way. I don't know, but I do remember him.
Stripper.
Say again.
Like the fireman thing alone made him look like a stripper, but even his name made him sound like a stripper.
Yeah. I'm guessing
maybe that's why it didn't work.
Yeah, there's something to them, and they kept Firebreaker Chip ended up having a pretty long career in WCW. He lasted through up until the Nitro era, and they actually reunited during the Nitro era and beat the Samoan SWAT team in a dark match. I found that out today when I was looking up stuff about him. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like I said, I think Todd Champion looked really good out there. I think that for a guy his size and how much experience he had, I'm really surprised because he had a couple dark matches in WWF, and I'm surprised Vince didn't take a shine to him. He's exactly the type of guy that Vince would have liked back then. So I'm thinking it had to have been the steroid stuff.
Not really.
Come on, it had to have been the steroid stuff. It had to have been because WWF was trying to. WWF was trying to avoid steroid problems, and these guys were definitely on the juice. Like, no way they weren't on the juice. So that'd be my guess. But
so up next, Eric Bischoff is conducting an interview with Paul E. Dangerously with Medusa. Paul says he was fired as a commentator, so he's back to just being a manager. He wants the man who can eliminate Sting for good, because that's by killing your heroes, we're gonna strike back at WCW, and that was the Phantom himself, ravishing Rick Rude. So Rude starts cutting this promo while being drowned out by his own theme music. And then eventually the music cuts and Rude talks. He just cuts a generic promo on Sting. Good segment.
Yeah, I really liked the reveal, actually. Like, because he came out, he was wearing the Phantom robe and he still had the Phantom mask on and he put on a hat. And the slow reveal of, like, you see the Rude tights come through and stuff like that. It was a good moment for an otherwise terribly produced show. Yeah. And Paul and all these people cut good promos, and it was a good. Bischoff was probably the worst part of that segment, honestly.
Right.
Bischoff was terrible.
Announcer Bischoff was terrible. It wasn't until they allowed Eric to embrace his inner dick that he started being good on the mic.
Right.
So next we get a Ron Simmons video package, and we move into the match that shocked me more than anything else on this show.
Really?
Lex Luger versus Ron Simmons for the WCW World Championship in a 2 out of 3 falls match. And what shocked me was how much I loved this match.
It was so good. It was so good.
I've never loved a Lex Luger match before in my life.
Everything about this
was excellent.
The Ron Simmons, the video package leading in where you learned about Ron Simmons collegiate stuff and
the football field hitting the dummies and stuff.
And JR framing it as saying, Lex Luger went to Miami and they're in the Hurricanes, they're in the Seminoles, or like they framed it around the fact that they would be college rivals. And Harley, with that, there was a presence around Harley. You know what I mean?
Having Harley with Lex and Dusty with Ron was such a perfect touch.
Here's the comment that LK made. Hey, what's John Moxley doing walking out with Lex Luger?
Having Mr. Hughes.
No. It was remember because Tony compared John Moxley to Harley Race last week.
Oh yeah.
So. Oh, I forgot about Mr. Hughes. I love Mr. Hughes.
But here's the thing I loved about this. Mr. Hughes doesn't have a manager's license, so he was sent to the back.
Yep.
But Dusty and Harley added such a hugeness to this.
Oh, absolutely. Because
as they point out, 2 out of the 3 times Dusty won the world championship, it was from Harley Race.
Right. And they had 1 minute breaks between the things
False,
where they would get in the ring and do a Mickey, you know.
You got the Rocky corner man talk. The cut me, Mick, cut me.
Yeah,
except Harley didn't say jack shit to Lex.
I was about to say, you know that they were back there being like, okay, baby, you got to go in there. You got to do. Yeah, I want you to be like Mickey from Rocky. You know what that is? And Harley just looks at me and goes, "Fuck you." You know, I ain't saying shit. Like, he barely got in the ring after the second fall.
Lex Luger's entrance, though, with the big cardboard cutout letters of Luger, and the R keeps falling over, and they have to like catch it because it almost said luge.
It was so like 5th grade play vibes to the whole thing.
By the way, Tony Schiavone talked about Lex Luger never changing his facial expression as like a strategy thing, and I was like, good on you, Tony Schiavone, for trying to shine some shit here, because that's called a lack of charisma, not psychology.
Right.
But yeah, Luger looked great in this match.
He really did. I was like, where did this Lex Luger come from? Is this Ron Simmons being like, damn, I'm going to carry you kicking and screaming to a good match, kid? Or like, did Harley and Dusty lay it out? Like, what exactly was it that clicked here? Well, that we got this Lex Luger.
I think I have an opinion on that, and I think it's because Luger was working like Ric Flair that night.
Yep. I was about to say, I think Luger was told that he was Ric Flair's replacement, because this was right after Ric Flair went over to WWF.
Right.
So I think that Dusty took him back and said, "You're our next Flair. You're the next Flair, and you got to act like it. You got to perform like it." You know, and he went out and he did it, man. He looked really good out there. I always heard people say Luger could work when he wanted to. But like,
he wanted to this night.
He definitely wanted to, because he never wanted to again, I don't think.
So not Harley. Ron Simmons wins the first fall with the spine buster.
Handily.
And Luger sold the spine buster perfectly. He does not stand back up until the next fall starts.
Mm-hmm.
And even when the next fall does start, he's still selling his back.
Yeah, he crawls to the corner and like crawls into the stool in the corner. And then like when the next fall starts, he still can't stand. He's selling the spine buster to that extent. I thought that was phenomenal.
I thought we haven't gotten to the second fall yet, but and then when you looked at Dusty talking to Ron Simmons, where he kept saying like, "This isn't the time to go on defense. Make sure you're not," like, they brought the camera right up to where you could hear what he was saying to him, and it was such a good shot and good production. And then he went over.
It was like boxing.
I loved the analysis from JR and Shivani during this match about the strategy, like talking about how like when Simmons wasn't immediately charging in, he was like, he's cautious. He thinks that Harley Race has got something up his sleeve. Like it was like a sport. It was real sports casting analysis.
Yeah, it was great.
I just wrote in my notes, Ron Simmons is so freaking good, and Vince fumbled.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I don't understand how you get this guy and you put a gladiator helmet on him.
Oh, okay. You're talking about that specifically. Yes. I was going to say.
Well, no, just in general. Like, you got this guy and you did nothing with him.
He's not a. I don't understand why Vince wanted him. He's not a promo guy. So you know, and especially in the time that he came in, you gotta be a promo guy. You can't, because they weren't doing managers really anymore. It was like,
I think he did fairly well with Nation of Domination.
He found his way, but he still.
Yeah, but then he got overshadowed by The Rock,
and he was in one note too. You know what I mean? It's like he could only play that angry black man. He can't really go outside that box, and we
found that out when he had to turn face against The Rock, and he still he didn't have it.
Right. Or when the Acolytes started and all he was damn, you know, I mean, that's.
Yeah. So the other thing that I pointed out was that both of these men were professional athletes. Luger played professional football for 7 years. They said Ron Simmons was a professional football player. And I started thinking about like, man, remember back when wrestlers were all like professional athletes who like played football or like some professional sport in some way? Like Savage was a baseball player and like,
oh yeah.
I don't know. And people are always like poo-pooing on WWE when they like pull in football players and people like that to train to be wrestlers. And I'm like, no, this is how it was done.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
no,
Dusty liked wrestling, sure, but Dusty was training to be in the NFL. Like he was going to like the camp, like NFL camp, and did a couple wrestling matches and got paid all this money, and then decided that he no longer played professional football because he was going to chase the money.
Yeah. So many of these guys weren't wrestling fans, or, I mean, okay, to be fair, back in that time, everyone had kind of a general knowledge about wrestling. It was just kind of prevalent and around. And if you lived, you existed, you knew what wrestling was. But these weren't the guys that go over to shows every day. They never let those guys train. Those guys wouldn't make it past the front door if they came in to train. You had to have some sort of background in you know,
Right.
professional or at least college athletics to even get in the door. So
Yeah. Could you imagine like the Young Bucks going to train back then?
oh geez.
Oh my God. What are they going to take tickets?
I mean, we learned what happened when Kenny Omega, tried to train with Harley Race, and Harley put him in the intermediate course.
Yeah. I mean, and it's not like there weren't small guys back then. It's just they had to work extra hard to win people over.
There were methods and systems in place that would vet out and weed out the bad ones real easily, quickly.
Their small guys back then were Brian Pillman, who
Ronnie
I think
Garvin.
was still bigger than like the Bucks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So LK said, please explain the second fall to me. Okay. So it was illegal in WCW at that time to throw someone over the top rope.
Right.
So Luger goes running at Ron Simmons, who's in the ropes, and Harley Race pulls Ron Simmons and the top rope down so that to the ref, it looks like Ron Simmons backdrops Luger over the top rope.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It is brilliant. I like popped out of my seat when I saw that.
I was blown away. Just like the creativity involved there.
That had to be Dusty.
I love the over the top rope being a disqualification.
Me too.
I love that.
That was a DQ up until like Hogan gets there.
Yeah, I didn't like the top rope thing. That Bill Watts stuff that he put. I didn't like that. But over the top rope being a DQ, that makes him different. It's cool. And yeah, I mean, the one thing that was distracting about this was in the front row, there was a kid eating a styrofoam cup the whole time. But if you go back and watch, there's a little fat kid in the front row and he's constantly eating a styrofoam cup for some reason. But that's one thing that I love about old WCW shows is that the crowd is such like just your generic indie wrestling. Like what you think of back then when you thought of a wrestling crowd was exactly what WCW had. We didn't talk about this, but remember when P and News came out and they showed like the white people in the crowd like raising the roof and doing just like four gigantic white people. Yeah. Like these are the best looking people we have here. I'm sorry.
By the way, before the second fall hits, you finally got the physicality between Dusty and Harley, and Dusty kind of lays Harley out.
Yeah, and the ref didn't care. Nick Patrick was great at this moment because Harley's kind of interfering, and Nick Patrick's like, "You better not." And then Dusty comes over and belts him, and then Nick Patrick just immediately turns back to the match and he's like, "Okay, it's taken care of." Now, if there's a fight outside the ring between two people that aren't in the match, the ref's distracted, and then there's a low blow, and then somebody gets. But the ref was focused on this match, and once Dusty took care of it, he was gone. He didn't care about it anymore. That's a really neat touch.
Look at this from Chris from Last Call Podcast. Is when Ron Simmons got drafted, the NFL had only 28 teams, 45-man rosters. Now we have 32 teams, 53-man rosters, and 15-man practice squads. Your current Ron Simmons is in the NFL right now. Yeah. That's very true. That is a very good point.
Or I mean, WWE is getting a lot of these guys who don't make it because they're signing them for the NIL program. So that's where you get guys like Braun Breaker,
Right. So we get back in. Luger's bleeding from the eye. Ron starts Farouking up, is what I said, when he was just basically no-selling everything, and the crowd was electric for it. Yeah. We go out on the outside. Ron Simmons goes to shoulder block Luger. Luger moves. He hits the post, injures himself. They get back in the ring. Luger hits the pile driver. 1, 2, 3. I loved this finish.
Now the pile driver.
Can we stop right there? Thank you. That pile driver was atrocious.
Oh, that's where you're going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about the fact that it was the attitude adjustment was the name of the pile driver.
Yes.
They called it the attitude adjustment. It wasn't a good pile driver, but it was not good in the right way. It was not good in the safe way. You know what I mean? Like he leaned.
Lex Luger pile drive Ron Simmons' aura.
Yeah, he erred on the side of being safe, which I approve of. I'm okay with that. If that's your one thing,
they did a replay of it. It was terrible.
But I liked that it wasn't like Luger cheated to win. It was Ron Simmons made a mistake.
Yeah.
Like he cheated to win the one fall, obviously. Harley cheated. But then that final fall, it came down to a freak accident. And sometimes that's what happens.
It was
Ron Simmons doesn't win the belt for another year and some change, right? Like, or no, I think it's not quite a year. I think it's the following summer he wins it.
He beat Vader. Yeah, you're right. Because it was right when Watts came in too. It was like right when he came in.
Oh, Watts was immediately like, I got to make another JYD.
Yeah, but you know what?
Ron Simmons and Junkyard Dog have exactly one thing in common, and it's
this kind of kills that narrative that JR's had for years, where they weren't using Ron Simmons, and then Bill Watts comes in and says, "That's my man. I'm going to use him."
He's the main event.
He not only did he main evented with Dusty in his corner with the only video package on the show, and with the crowd going crazy behind him, and with they were behind Ron Simmons at this point.
You never know what happens in the next couple. You don't know what happens in the next couple of months, because it's very possible that they kind of drop the ball on Ron Simmons in the follow up to this.
Right.
They made this entire program, if I remember correctly. Somebody will correct me in the chat, but I remember this entire feud taking place off of like racial epithets, like Lex Luger and Harley Race would kind of disparage Ron Simmons in promos, like "You're not fit to be world champ," kind of like Booker T and Triple H.
The Booker T Triple H feud, yeah.
Harley really had his heart in it too. I'll say that.
It's the least amount of Harley Race has ever had to do.
Anytime Harley Race, anytime they wanted him to like do something, like I said, after that second fall, you see Dusty in the corner with Ron Simmons, and he's in his face and he's talking to him. He hugged him. Like Dusty like did the thing that I do with Max sometimes when Max is like crying and I put his head in my kind of my shoulder and I just kind of look forward stoically. Dusty was doing that to Ron Simmons. Meanwhile Harley Race is like barely walking into the ring and going, shithead, get over there. Like he doesn't care at all about
Harley Race is the disapproving mentor that we all need in our lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
You and Kiyomiya for $199 says the Bucks would have been cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the like when I was looking at the Chamber of Horrors match, I was kind of comparing it to Anarchy in the Arena. I'm like, yeah, this is terrible, but at least they're not doing like dance routines.
True.
Like, there was not
all
one,
they're doing is just
one,
punching and kicking each other.
There was not one prefabricated spot out there. I'll tell you that much.
It felt like I said, this show felt like what AEW wants to be, or what they at least wanted to be when they started. Just this like crazy 3-hour thing that has everything you could possibly want in a wrestling show. It has, if you want the crazy gimmicky stuff, you had the Chamber of Horrors. If you wanted the gritty hard-nosed wrestling, you had this match. You had the technical stuff earlier with Bobby Eaton and Terry Taylor, or Austin and Dustin. You had high fly-in match, like everything you could possibly want, except they also threw in some like nothing matches that didn't need to be there. But it's what AEW strived to be and couldn't get to, because if this was an AEW show, it would have been 7 hours long.
This was under 3 hours. This was 2 hours and 46 minutes. I think I clocked.
Yeah,
about that.
Yeah. If anything, my main takeaway at the end was that I wish they would have cut some of the matches and given Terry Taylor and Bobby Eaton more time, or given the tag match. I liked the tag match. They could have given that a little bit more time. I don't know. This was more fun than I thought I'd have, and it makes me want to go back and watch more of this era of WCW. I am now so interested in like everything about it, from the backstage politics to where the wrestlers are to who gets the title, and why is Sting the US champion? Like what? At some point, 2 titles come in. I know Rick Rude becomes the world champion, but there's 2 titles at that point.
Rick Rude becomes the world champion?
he was the international champion.
The NWA champion.
Yeah, it was just such a weird time for wrestling, but I'm so enamored with it at this point. It's kind of all I want to watch.
I'm trying to figure out if this was before the sale of WCW to the Turner Network or after.
This was after.
Okay, so with that being said, that being known, now I understand, why this event was what it was. Like, throw out the big guns first because we're trying to get an audience, we're trying to gain attention and all that. It was terrible. And it's just like you said, it's AEW all over again. Well, pre-AEW, AEW. By the end of the show, you've got your pure wrestling match, but dump all the nonsense in the front end of the show.
Well, I think that the Chamber of Horrors was first solely because they couldn't set up the ring and they couldn't set up the cage in the middle of the show.
No, because the cage was hanging above the ring.
Right.
Was it?
Yeah, the cage was at the ceiling.
Oh, then I don't know why the hell they put it first.
I think it's just good booking. I think it's what we always say. You can't put the Chamber of Horrors match and the world title match back to back. You can't. Because if that Chamber of Horrors match came off the way they envisioned it in their heads, and if everything went perfect, it ended up being this wonderful spectacle, then you have to send out Lex Luger and Ron Simmons to follow it. But instead, you put it at the beginning and you have a whole bunch of bullshit in the middle that can pad it out, and that's, I think wrestling cards, if you're not going to do what WWE is doing right now, where you just have 5 matches and they're all important and you have all the bullshit is going to be like storylines or commercials or whatever. If you're actually just going to do match, you have to have a Van Hammer Doug Summers match in there. You have to have something because you can't, if you have to give the fans time to go pee or get a hot dog or something like that,
Sure.
So so especially for this time, I think this show was booked really well in terms of pacing. I couldn't believe that I liked this show. I liked it better than the show we watched last time. I think
it's infinitely better than 98.
Yeah. Easily
infinitely better than Halloween Havoc 98.
So I don't know if we do more. We're going to be doing more of these in the future. I'd like to kind of pick more from the early 90s WCW, and I didn't think I'd be saying that, but now I'm very interested in it. So.
Apparently there's gems to be mined in there. Like we all kind of like always like roll our eyes at that time period, but apparently there was stuff going on.
Yeah.
Maybe one month our theme will be like big title win shows. So we could do like Ron Simmons wins the world title. We could do like, other times where somebody won for the first time. Kofi wins for the first time. Things like that.
I think, I think these are really good for covering too, because they have that goofy hook, like Chamber of Horrors. That's a goofy hook that makes you go like, okay, well, we got to watch that. And then you find out that Todd Champion's not that bad. You know what I mean? Like come
for the Chamber of Horrors and then stay for Austin and Austin Bobby Eaton, Dusty Rhodes and
and
a killer main event.
Yeah, I think this was a good show, and I actually would recommend that if you have not watched this show, maybe sit down and watch it on. It does kind of have that kind of goofy, campy Halloween feel to it. It put me in the mood for Halloween a little bit, like seeing Bischoff in the terrible vampire outfit or the graves and that. I don't know, man. It was a fun time. It's
so crazy watching the Chamber of Horror match and watching those fireworks go off and then comparing it to what AEW was doing with that exploding ring match. Like, that's how it's supposed to be done.
Well, I mean, if you look at what an exploding ring is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
It's, that was nothing like what it was supposed to be. All right. Well, that about does it, guys. Anything else you wanted to add?
No.
Not rewatchable.
Really? You don't think so? I mean, now that I've watched it, I agree. I don't think I can go back to it. Maybe in a couple of years, I might be able to go back to it, but not anytime soon. But if you haven't watched it, I would recommend it.
Yeah. I guess.
All right. Well, let me just make sure I got all the super chats. It looks like I do. All right. So, guys, you got a show coming up on Thursday. Why don't you plug that?
Awful. Do you want to tell them what we're doing this week?
We're going to be reading the Tony Khan inspired urban legends list.
The wrestling sleaze list.
Yes, the wrestling sleaze list. Yeah. We take a look at some of his wildest claims in there, or some of the wildest claims that have been told.
Coach Tony K thing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Marv, have you never heard about? Have you never like perused?
I've heard of it. You guys told me about it, but I never like read it.
Yeah, if you want to hear stories about people of questionable genders or glass tables involving professional wrestlers, then Thursday, that's the show to check out because we got 460 of them.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah,
you might need to make this a series instead of one show.
I know which ones. I know which ones are the crowd pleasers. So I've been through this list plenty of times.
All right. Well, for me, guys, make sure you check out Tooney Talk TV on Thursday night right before This Is Awful. If you guys will actually turn on the thing that allows me to redirect to you, I will redirect to you. I've been asking you for like a month. Other than that, make sure you're keeping it to Geeks and Gamers and .com and thatparkplace.com for all of your entertainment news. From all of us here at the Tooneytown channels, I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here! Now, Betty the Platypus, feel the wrath of my thank you-inator!
Thank you, you piece of trash.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you!
Oh, I suppose you want me to say thank you. Well, you know what? Saying thank you is like jobbing.
Thank you!
I got a little message. Thank you.
Ooh, yeah!
Oh, thank you! Oh, thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you! Thank you!
Thanks? For what? Hi-ho from all of us here at Tooneytown. Thank you!
And viewers like you. Thank you.